What's up, movie lovers? Welcome to episode number 34 of Ready Play Movies, your weekly source for everything that's new and exciting in the world of entertainment. Every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Pacific or 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we discuss the top news of the week, notable releases, what we're watching, big topics of the industry, and the movies we love. If you want to write anything to be read on the show, send us an email at readyplaymovies@gmail.com or hit us up at readyplaymovies on Twitter. No matter where you found us, please subscribe to the feed so you can get every new show directly to your device as soon as it posts. And if you like it, please leave us a nice review. This is August 31st, 2021. I'm your host, Louis Menchaca, and joining me today is my co-host, Mr. Troy Bracey.
Yes, as always, we back, you know what I'm saying? So, good to be back.
Shit, I never left.
Yeah, man, I felt like I done missed 2 weeks. And I think it felt like that because the Eternals trailer dropped, and that dropped like I think the day after our show.
Yes.
And so like that whole week, I was like, all right, I want to talk about the Eternals trailer next week on the show.
Yeah.
Then I missed that, and then that day, Spider-Man trailer dropped, and so then I missed that. So it felt like it's been 2 weeks since I haven't talked about the good ass news. It's crazy.
I'm glad that you actually start looking. You look forward to this podcast because I always wonder. We don't talk about this off camera, but I always wonder how. Like, if you enjoy doing these podcasts, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, of course, because I talk movies. You know, I consider myself, and I hope I don't sound like cocky or anything, but I consider myself an expert in movies. Yeah. So anytime I could discuss movies and chop it up,
and with somebody like at your level.
Yeah, absolutely, I enjoy it. So yeah,
because when we're at hanging out with some friends and stuff, we sort of have to not dumb it down.
But
not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Yeah,
but you got to keep it casual.
Casual, yeah, right. Because not everybody is, and that's one of the things. You can't get
in the weeds.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's what I be realizing. Not everybody's experts in movies or trying to analyze a movie. They just watch it for what it is, you know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's. So that actually gets us to the thing. First off, I said last week we were going to be doing Saturday recordings. We're actually recording on Monday. Thank you, Troy. So no Saturday recording yet. Hopefully I haven't talked to him off camera about it. But for now, we're on Monday. So
I think we'll be good on Monday.
We got the movie news very timely for you guys.
Yes.
And also, because Troy did miss the last week's show, we're going to talk about the two trailers from last week that we were that Dallas and I were gushing about last week, which was the Eternals trailer and the Spider-Man trailer. So go ahead and hit us up with the Eternals thoughts.
The Eternals trailer,
and I'm gonna pull it up for you too while you're talking.
The Eternals trailer that kind of dropped a surprise. I will say this, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be real. I'm like the Eternals the trailers, the first one and the second one hasn't really blown my mind. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything yet from this movie where oh my God, I gotta go see this shit. To me, it just does it feels like just another superhero movie, especially because I've never heard of these characters before. I don't know their powers. I know nothing about them. Right. So I'm just these trailers not doing nothing for me. I'm not really jumping up and down. But the one thing that has me very optimistic about this and excited about this is anytime, and a lot of people don't pick up on this, anytime a movie comes out and then on the second trailer, it's it's the final trailer.
Yeah.
That means they have so much confidence in the movie that they don't need to. They did it with Joker. They did it with Logan. You know, both of those movies got Oscar nominations and was some of the greatest comic book movies ever, right? Yeah. And so the fact that on the very second trailer that they hit us with, the final trailer, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? The final trailer? I'm thinking we're going to get 8 trailers and all this. Final trailer.
10 TV spots.
Right. And so to me, it shows that they got supreme confidence.
Which, by the way, they're doing that with Shang-Chi. They're putting out a trailer every second.
Right. And that's kind of that's
which I haven't been covering, by the way, because there's too many of them. But
so exactly. Yeah. And so that's usually the motto. But every now and then, when a studio feel like they got gold, they want to keep it. They want to blow people's mind, And that's why Logan only had 2 trailers and Joker had 2 trailers. And the fact that this only has 2 trailers and it's an unknown property. This ain't like Doctor Strange or nothing it's completely unknown, and they only had 2 trailers. That has me very excited.
I don't even think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 had 2 trailers.
2 trailers, yeah.
It had a whole bunch more than that.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about this movie. Just from not necessarily from what I seen that got me excited, but I think from behind the scenes.
Basically, Marvel's confident.
I know, right. Yeah. And if Marvel's confident, then it's something special. And I think even Kevin Feige talked about how good he think this movie is. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's actually true. But I will say, like, just even looking at the trailer as we were watching it, which I wish,
It's a lot of cool
I
shit.
wish, yeah, I wish I could play it for you guys, but copyright stuff or whatever. But yeah, it looks very stylistically like really cool, and you can tell just by seeing it that there's like I don't know, like an
It's
expert,
artistic.
Yeah, there's an expert like craftsmanship going into
Yeah, it is.
going into it.
Yeah, it looks cool. You know, it's nothing that I haven't seen nothing that blowed me, but both trailers I think are at the very least interesting. So
Yeah, there goes that proto Cyclops right there.
yeah. Got Cyclops, a little Superman in there, a little X-Men feel in there. Like you got a bunch of little stuff like sprinkled into whoever these characters are.
Yeah, so yeah, that's cool. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, and I don't think Troy needs to watch a trailer while he talks about it because you probably haven't memorized it by now from.
I done
from
seen it
front to
about
back.
20 times. I ain't gonna lie.
Before you say anything, I gotta say I saw somebody took the '90s animated series.
I seen that.
And
I
they
seen
put
that,
that
and they
trailer
did
out,
it
like,
very
damn.
good. I was so
I was like,
surprised at how
ooh.
good they even had Strange in the trailer
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah, that was.
And then the lip, and at certain times the lips actually matched.
Matched. I was like, damn.
Like the
yeah.
part where he was like, okay, that's strange, but I'll allow it. You know,
Yeah,
that kind
like
of stuff.
I was very surprised on how good that was.
Yeah, so what? Okay, I gotta say, I'm not the kind of guy that does like reactions where I'm like, you see like a reaction trailer.
Oh, yeah.
So like exactly. So like last week, I kind of felt very like I felt very low key whenever I was talking about it.
Yeah.
But with Dallas, kind of brought the hype because Dallas is way more of a showman than I am.
Yeah.
But internally, I was feeling like that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Go for it.
Nah, I was feeling like that too. The trailer is just fantastic, really all around the board. It's a great trailer, and it just seems like straight up fun. And the fact that this is revolutionary. This is like what Avengers was basically. This is the first time how Avengers was the first comic book movie to do crossovers and all that shit, and it was like something spectacle about it just cause of that. Like we never seen a bunch of different characters from different movies cross over and be in this big spectacle.
Yeah.
This is what that is. But just with universes. Like, this is the first time we're seeing different universes cross over. And, like, when you see it, I think that's why with this trailer, the way people are reacting to it is the reason why people are reacting to it so much is because it's like, wow, it's a part of you that can't believe it. Like, oh, shit, it's crossing over with other villains from the other, like, it blows my mind. And it's crazy because even me, I'm not going to lie, I do not like any of those Amazing Spider-Man villains. But the fact that I'm seeing, like, you get the little glimpse of, you see the lizard. You see Lizard in there.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really like Lizard in Amazing Spider-Man, but
he
seeing
also-
him, I'm like,
all of a sudden
oh
he's hyped.
shit, Lizard! Like, and you got the Easter egg of Electro and shit. Like,
I hope it's Willem Dafoe though. It better be Willem Dafoe for Green Goblin.
oh yeah. I
what
think
if it's James Franco?
No, I think it's weird because you heard his voice.
Yeah.
You heard his voice. Like, and I doubt you heard his voice, and it was his pumpkin. So
I'm genuinely surprised that they got Willem Dafoe. I would have thought he would have said no to this.
Nah, I mean, William Dafoe, he's one of them dudes that he was in Aquaman. He accept anything. You know what I mean? Like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I that didn't surprise me much.
He's no Hugo Weaving as well.
Right, exactly, yeah. So, but I will say, as much as I liked it, one of the things I hope is that is not what it is in the trailer, because then I'll be a little disappointed, because there's some things in this trailer that's just plain ridiculous, right? So first of all, you got like Doctor Strange, right? Peter Parker, he comes to him and he's like, hey man, can you just erase everybody's memories?
He's like,
and
I got you.
Oh, I got you, I'll do it. Yeah, you're my pal, right? And I'm like, is this the same Doctor Strange that was like, I'll let you and Parker die before I let him get the stone? Like, he's one of them real dudes that ain't finna be playing with this stuff like that. Like, he taking it serious. And then secondly,
I protect all of reality, all asshole, like
exactly, bro. So I'm like, to me, for him to just so willingly just be like, all right, Peter, yeah, I'll do it, and then just
him and Iron Man have a lot more alike than you think. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're both brilliant, and they're basically making him out to sound like he's got an ego. Like, oh man, they defeated Thanos. I can do anything.
Yeah. But to me, I hope that's not what they're going with that though, because to me, it just don't seem consistent, and it just seemed too easy. Like, it's like I felt like you shouldn't just be able to go say, hey man, can you do something that can possibly cause a multi-global dimension thing? But I just need your help. Okay, I got you. I hope that's not the case. And also, like, that was also dumb. Like, it seemed like Strange was blaming him. Like, in the trailer, he's like, well, you tried to live double life. This is your fault. I'm like, dude, you're the one that did it. Like, you're supposed to be the responsible guy here. You know what I'm saying? Peter's just a kid. You know what I mean? So it's some things that I'm like, I hope it's not what it looked like it seems. I predict that that's not Doctor Strange. You know what I'm saying? I'm predicting that whoever that is the villain for the Doctor Strange movie, and it's like going to either be revealed in a post-credit scene or at the end of the movie that wasn't Doctor Strange the whole time, and it was like some villain.
It's like some bizarro Superman shit where he's like,
well, see, the
where
thing
he's
is,
like being like he's like trapped somewhere else, but
yeah. And that's what I'm thinking it is, because it almost seems like when in the trailer when his homeboy was like, don't do that spell, and he does the little wink, like he doesn't feel like Doctor Strange. He seems like he's somebody else, like winking at us, like almost like breaking the fourth wall, like yeah, I think it's me, whatever, you know. So but it matches up with this whole trilogy, because if you think about it, like Michael Keaton, right? Remember the reveal of him being his girlfriend's or his date's dad, and it was like, oh, it was like the twist, and like we didn't know that they were. And even with the Far From Home, where like, you know, it was like they end up being Skrulls, the Nick Fury, and so the whole time they were Skrulls. It wasn't Nick Fury the whole time, you know. So they've been doing this kind of stuff. It'll be consistent to me, like if they did do something like that, and I wouldn't mind it. But even if they don't, I just hope it ain't how it is in the trailer. Like, hey, I need you to do it, and then they just do it, you know. So I hope it's more to it, like it's more writing than that, you know what I mean? So, but man, I can't lie. This is the most I've ever been excited for a Spider-Man movie by far. It's not even close, and I have very high faith that it's gonna be good, because the last two Spider-Mans been good. And it's directed by John Watts, the same director. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
I mean, I am. This is my most anticipated movie of the year, like straight up, bar none.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, I just gotta say, I'm not a fan of these like trailers within the trailers where they have the like 5 seconds.
Bro, it almost feel like they spoiled the trailer. Like, why do y'all do that shit? I hate that, bro.
As you know why, right?
Why? Because they feel like people's attention span too short to watch a trailer? Like,
so on YouTube, when they put ads, it's 5-second skippable ads.
Yeah.
So they put the trailer in 5 seconds. So that way, when the skip button shows up, then you've already watched enough of it. Like kind of.
Oh, okay.
Those bastards.
I guess that's just stupid.
That's the internet ruins everything, man.
Yeah, real talk. But yeah, I'm excited though.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the actual show. So for starters, we got I got one episode of What If to talk about. Troy has 2 episodes of What If to talk about since he wasn't here last week.
Well, I didn't see What If. I haven't watched it yet, so I can't even talk about What If. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I'm gonna be into What If like that.
Really? You should have at least watched episode 2. Man. It had Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. Oh, that's the one though. I thought that was gonna be in 4th episode.
No,
that's the second one.
The second one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that one.
What if Black Panther was Star-Lord?
I think that might be the only one I watched, only because to show my boy, you know, Chadwick Boseman, you know, the legendary Chadwick Boseman, some love. But
man, you a bitch.
I'm not gonna lie. That the animation annoys me so much. I'm not a fan of it. Like, I don't think it's bad animation. It's just like if I don't like the animation, it's hard for me to watch cartoons. That's
it looks
just
like
the
a
way
graphic novel, though.
I know, and that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
But for me, it just doesn't work on screen. You know what I mean? Sometimes it does. Like when Into the Spider-Verse, they did like
stop motion animation.
Yeah, I actually like that. But I could see for some people that didn't work. For some people, it just looked weird. But for me, if I can't get behind the animation, it's very hard for me to watch anything animated. That's just how I am, because like that's everything. That's the look of what you're watching. And if I don't like the animation, it's like fuck.
Man, I like it just for the story. And
but I'm gonna definitely give that the second episode a shot, if that's the one with Chadwick Boseman. I don't know why I thought that was the 4th episode.
He's gonna be in 4 episodes total, so he's got 3 more.
Oh, that's probably why I got it confused. He's gonna be in 4 episodes. I thought he was gonna appear on the 4th episode. Okay, that's how I got it.
He's gonna be here in 4 episodes total. We've only seen 1 so far. We got 3 more to go.
Damn, I didn't know they used them that much. Shit.
And 3 more to go, and it's gonna be somewhere like. So there's 9 episodes total. We've only gotten 3 so far. So that means there's only 6. There's only 6 more to go, and of those 6, he's in half of them. Like out of the 6 left, he's in 3 of them.
You know what I'm saying, got him for so much. That's cool.
So I bet you, that'd be cool if he does like he doesn't come back until like the last three where you get him back to back to
that'd be
back.
cool.
That'd be cool. Whereas they just sort of like hold it off.
Oh,
And,
for him,
yeah.
that'd be dope.
So yeah, okay, fine. I'll go ahead and give my thoughts on What If then. So then episode 3 aired, or streamed, whenever between last episode and this episode, and the episode covered what if the Avengers died before they could assemble for the first time. And so, do you remember like how Phase 1, how Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Thor 1 all took place in the same week? Like, it's like the Nick Fury's week or big week or whatever,
Yeah.
And so basically, that whole What If episode covered all of those movies in like one episode, and basically there's like it's a murder mystery. The whole arc of the entire episode is a murder mystery because somebody is killing the Avengers. Before they can assemble. Like, so it starts off, I guess a little spoiler, which it was shown in the trailer, by the way. In the trailer, it shows in Iron Man 2 where he's on top of that donut, where he's like, eating a donut in that donut.
Yeah.
And then Nick Fury is like, come on down. And then, so it has that scene where he's saying, like, Iron Man's like, I don't want to join your super secret boy band or whatever. And
same scene.
So he gets assassinated and he falls over, dies. And then it's like, what the fuck is happening?
That's crazy.
And so everyone's pointing fingers. We're trying to figure it out. And then shit gets real fast.
It's funny how, like, Iron Man survived through so many movies to all kind of different villains or whatever. Then in this, he just assassinated and died so quick and easy.
Yeah,
like.
very like just drops dead.
God,
and I'm like, what the fuck? And so, like the whole there were some surprise deaths that happened that like. Real talk, I never would have seen coming. I never thought it would have been possible.
Oh, well, I definitely do. Like, if they don't listen in a what if show and you still don't have death, like, to me, that'd be a weak show if, like, you don't take that opportunity to just kill anybody. Yeah, it's like.
There was, obviously in a what if and stuff, that you can take risks, but even within the what if, I was surprised by a certain character's death, even within the what if. And I don't want to spoil who it was or whatever, but, like, it was, like, surprising that they pulled it off in a semi-believable way, but also like the fact of the matter is the shows are 20 minutes long per episode, and you're speed running through 3 different movies, and so there's a lot of plot threads that were unanswered or just never were talked about even within the show because like if you think about the fact that Iron Man 2 was happening, that means like they don't even talk about what's happening with Justin Hammer or Mickey Rourke's character.
Yeah.
When the fact that Incredible Hulk was happening, they never talked about the Abomination or what's going on with him.
Yeah.
Like there's other stuff that just like that's not part of what the show is about. That it just like if there was more time you can sort of like see like a bigger butterfly effect that you would expect from what's happening, because these are happening during the middle of these movies' plots.
Yeah.
And so they did go into like something that would happen with Thor, like in Thor's plot, but otherwise like it's not a, how do I put this? It's not as like a deep dive as far as what I was expecting, but the actual central conceit is very interesting. The story had me like riveted from the first few minutes. And what's kind of interesting is that they I was seeing some fan reviews and stuff like that, and I don't know if people are just like talking shit or whatever, but like I didn't see it coming, but other people were like, "Oh man, I knew from this moment it was that person." I'm like, "How the hell did you know? Like, what the fuck?" But whatever. So that what if I would say episode 2 is definitely the best episode out of all of them, bar none. It not just because of
haven't only been 2 episodes?
3.
Oh, it's been 3.
Three. The Peggy Carter, the Chadwick Boseman, and then now the what if the Avengers got killed.
Oh, okay.
The way I'd say episode 2 is definitely the best episode out of all of them, and now I can understand why episode 1 was episode 1, the Peggy Carter one. It was very basic. It was very by the numbers. It was not. There was no creative risks. But if you think about episode 1, it's a pilot. It's supposed to get you used to the idea. And then they elevate it after that. So, episode 1 is definitely the weakest, and it probably will be the weakest out of all of them.
Yeah.
But, that's all I got to say about that. The other thing I was watching was Rick and Morty. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it other than the fact... Pickle Rick. Yeah, Pickle Rick. Yeah, the only got to say about Rick and Morty is, number one, I hate the fact that they're withholding the last 2 episodes. They're holding it back for a season finale. So
that made you could bench everything, but
they did episodes 1 through 8. There's 10 episodes. They did episodes 1 through 8, one Sunday at a time, and then the following Sunday, when it was supposed to be episode 9's turn, they didn't air it.
oh,
And they're like, in a couple weeks, we're gonna do a 2-part finale. I'm like, what the fuck?
come on, man.
The show's done.
Yeah.
And so there was
It better be good at least if they gonna do that shit.
It better be, yeah. And then there was the whole. I just want to say as a whole, like the show is I don't know how to explain it, but like I definitely think the show is losing a little bit of its edge in the sense that I don't think it's as funny as it was. They've been doing a lot of stuff with like crazy ass like mind blowing like conceits, like decoy families and a space baby and all this other stuff, and Rick's going into his memories and we're finding out lore about him, and it's like characters from his past and stuff like that. But like the show itself, although it is a entertaining spectacle to view, it's not really as funny as I'm not laughing out loud as I used to in previous seasons. So I would say that's really all I wanted to say about Rick and Morty. I think the show is. I don't think the show has jumped the shark. I don't think it's like it's on a decline, but it definitely is. It's sort of like
it's not at its peak.
It's not at its peak, but I think it's feel like it's holding steady. They are doing creative risks as far as plot wise, but they're not being funny. And I don't know what it is they need to do to fix it. But there was like a Voltron episode that was like a parody of like all the Japanese animes like Gundam and stuff. But there wasn't. And then there was also like a parody of like The Godfather and all these and like all the Goodfellas and all these other gangster movies. But like although the parodies was there wasn't anything like laugh out loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. I don't know, but whatever. That's
it might have been that long break they had, man. They might have lost their edge because they had a long gap, right? Didn't they?
Yeah, they did between seasons 2 and 3, but like a year and a half or 2 years, something like that. But also, like the thing about it is, like Cartoon Network renewed them for 100 or for 70 episodes, totaling 100 episodes.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think they're in a position where the characters can't grow too much because you have to write 70 episodes worth of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So Troy. I talked about my thoughts on Reminiscence last week, and I sort of gave it the "it's okay" kind of thing. So, what are your thoughts on Reminiscence?
Me personally, I was very disappointed in Reminiscence. Yeah, I don't think it's okay. I think it's quite not really that good. You know what I mean? And
okay,
man, I was just disappointed. I was disappointed. Multiple plot holes. I felt like the movie didn't know what it wanted to be. Like, it didn't know if it wanted to be like a sci-fi movie, a noir movie, a Nolan movie, a romance. It was just all over the place. And I agree. And movies do that, but movies got to know that they're doing that. Be aware, like, oh, I'm trying to be multiple things. But I felt like the movie wasn't even aware that what the hell they was doing. The performance was great, but I was gonna say
Hugh Jackman did the damn thing.
Anybody can predict that though, because they're all great actors.
Andy Newton did the damn thing
too. They're all great actors.
Rebecca Ferguson.
For sure. And I really liked Rebecca Ferguson in the movie. And but I was just disappointed, man. I felt lackluster pacing, lackluster storytelling, and the direction. Like, I felt like this was a first-time director. Like, I really did. Like, I felt like watching the movie, the director didn't know what they were doing. Or it felt like, you know what it felt like? Maybe it was too much cooks in the kitchen, because she is a first-time director. And this is a big-budget movie for a first-time director. And a lot of times when these movies be big budgets and first-time directors, the studio kind of more harder on you than if you was already got some experience and then you knew what you was doing. And I found out it was the director of Westworld, or like one of the writers of Westworld. I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she directed a couple of episodes of Westworld. She kind of cut her teeth there on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, on Sci-Fi. So in theory, it seemed like it would have worked well. But yeah, man, the movie, I'll never watch it again. I'll say that. But it wasn't a blasphemous piece of mess. But it wasn't good.
See, that's the thing. I actually liked the movie. Like, I gave it the all right because for me, I was latching on to the noir aspect.
Yeah.
Because like there aren't many noir movies made these days.
Yeah.
And like for me, like I guess because I was so starving for a good noir, piece of fiction that it just I sort of latched onto that part, and I was riveted throughout the reveals and how it was just like a slow burn. Also, for me, like I was just like enthralled by like the trance-like state that I was when I was watching the movie. Like specifically, I gave a shout out to Hugh Jackman and his narrations. Like, I'm gonna take you on a journey. It's like very ASMR-ish, kind of thing, and you sort of believe it, and like it has an interesting, for me, I was sort of like focusing on like the themes and about nostalgia and how like we're in this kind of culture where we're very into nostalgia right now, and so it sort of harkens to that thing of just like living in the past. So for me, maybe I'm giving the movie more credit than it's due.
Yeah,
but I do.
Well, see, because like all the points you made is how I was feeling about the trailer. So like to be real, like because like a lot of the points you pointed to was the idea of the movie.
Yes.
But it's like the movie has to execute that.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I agree with everything you said, and and I was serious. Like the trailer gave me those vibes that like, cause you hear the voiceover in the trailer, and you hear like that noir. They have that noir feel, and the way you kind of. The idea of going back in your memories and reliving your like all that shit was in the trailer. And remember, that's why I was like, I love the trailer. Remember when it debuted and you was kind of like, the trailer. I was like, fuck, I love the trailer. So everything you mentioned, that's how I felt. But when I watched the movie, it didn't do well at executing those promises that the trailer did. It was just a bit all over the place. But
give like a better, more well-rounded, crafted filmmaker.
Craftsmanship.
Could have done a better job.
That's the perfect word. And I mean, I agree with you because I don't think it's a piece of garbage. I don't. I just don't think it's a good movie. But I can understand someone from the range of okay to bad. Like that's where I kind of leap from okay to bad.
It's not a hot mess.
Right. So,
but I will say, but you know what was a hot mess was the box office. It opened to number 9 last week with like $2 million.
That got to be the worst box office, one of the at least top 10 worst box offices ever. Because but that didn't surprise nobody. Because like you were saying, it wasn't because like you were saying, there was no buzz for the movie. Even me, I was excited about the movie, and then when it was on the for the pick of the week, I was like, oh shit, it's this week? Like I didn't even know. That didn't surprise me that it bombed.
Between like that and Luca, it's really hard. It's really hard for us to like have a movie sneak up on us.
Real talk. For it to sneak up, that's how you know they didn't have, and it snuck up on us, and I anticipated it. It's not like it just snuck up. Like I'm ready for it. Like damn, when this shit coming out? And it still snuck up. So yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the news.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
So we had another slow news week, 2 slow news weeks back to back, but we're gonna make up for that with like a very like meaty, very in-depth discussion for topic of the show. So let's just sort of fly through this one real quick here. The first thing up is a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. It shatters the Avengers Endgame record, viewership record, for the first 24 hours. So basically, it says here on the Variety article, despite leaking online a day earlier, the teaser trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home set a new all-time record for the most global views in the first 24 hours with 355.5 million views.
God damn.
That far surpasses the previous record held by the trailer for Avengers Endgame, which picked up 289 million views when it debuted in December 2018. According to Sony Pictures, the No Way Home trailer also earned the most ever mentions on social media of any movie preview over the first 24 hours, with 4.5 million mentions worldwide. Domestically, the No Way Home drew 2.91 million mentions over 24 hours, nearly doubling the 1.94 million mentions for the same period of the Endgame trailer. So people were buzzing about it on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff.
Sheesh.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop the article there. So I wanted to ask you, number one, like there was like, I saw this headline on John Campea. It was saying, it's like, does the No Way Home trailer views mean that Sony's going to keep Spider-Man in the MCU or not?
Man, that's tough. That's tough to say. I honestly don't know the answer because I don't know how how they looking at it in terms of how it benefits. Like, dude, are they looking at it like,
Are we smashing Endgame's record because we're part of the MCU,
right,
or because we're Spider-Man?
or because exactly,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. You know
I
what
think
I mean?
it's because of the MCU, because Doctor Strange made that shit like take it to the next level.
But I'm not gonna lie, I don't think so. I think the hype of this movie is from the multiversal.
It's because Doctor Strange is putting that spell in.
But it is Doctor Strange that's doing it.
Yeah.
But he's not the plot of the. I mean, he was part of the plot.
Yeah.
But the gimmick of another universe crossing over is at the end of the day is what. So like, for instance, when someone watches the trailer, they freak the fuck out when you see that pumpkin bomb from Green Goblin and you see Doc Ock in his arm. That's when people go, "Oh my God!" It's that element of it from their own Sony Spider-Man universes. That is what really is what got people interested in this movie on the level that it is. Because listen, this movie right now is receiving just as much hype or more hype than I've ever seen from a comic book movie.
It's
ever.
the Avengers Endgame of Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man. You're right. Exactly.
It's Spider-Verse
like,
Endgame.
I've never seen this amount of hype as much as this Spider-Man. Like, I'm talking, I mean, it was trending everywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's not just trending because it's the third Spider-Man movie in the franchise. It's trending because this is the first movie in history that's going to cross over multiple universes in one movie. You know
what's kind of funny is to give you a little rebuttal to that. Forget like DC's Arrowverse with the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, that trash shit. We ain't even counting that.
We're not counting that, but they did have Flash crossover with Flash.
Flash, yeah.
I don't know if you know that. And Smallville and all this other stuff.
Smallville, yeah. That shit, I don't count that.
Other than that, though, even if we discount that, the fact of the matter is, when DC first, Kevin Tsujihara was announcing the film slate for we're gonna make a Green Lantern, a Flash, a Cyborg movie.
Yeah.
Remember when he first did a slate of films?
Yeah.
That original slate of films is included the upcoming Flash movie.
Flashpoint,
the Flashpoint
Paradox.
Yeah, that was supposed to come out years ago in the original timeline of releases.
So they had the idea first.
So that means they would have had that.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie. If Flash had this, because see, this is the thing. Anytime something is the first at something, that's when the hype is biggest. So that's why this Spider-Man movie is so hyped, because it's for the first time we're seeing in a big blockbuster movie 2 different Spider-Verses together.
Yeah.
That's Into the Spider-Verse, but
live action.
Live action, yeah.
So that's what I was gonna say.
Flash would have beat that to that.
It sucks that Marvel's beating them to the punch.
Yeah, they are because really Flash is doing the exact same thing this movie's doing, because you got Michael Keaton in that. Yeah, but they got beat to the punch. So, but yeah, man, that's true. But I don't know. I hope they stay in the universe. I hope they could do another deal and stay in the universe. But I honestly have a good feeling that Sony's not gonna want to do it, and that's why they're low key setting up their own universe on the side with Venom.
Morbius.
Yeah, and I think what they're gonna do after this, they're gonna say, okay, I don't need y'all no more Marvel. This 2 of our movies that's gonna because remember, Far From Home made $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what the pandemic, but this is $1 billion movie. I don't know with the pandemic if it's gonna do $1 billion, but if this was regular day era,
$2 billion.
This would do $2 billion. You know what I'm saying? Easily. So
hell, at least $1.5 billion.
Yeah, real talk. So I think they feel like, okay, we don't need you no more, Marvel, because listen, to be real, the only reason this deal ever got done where Spider-Man was into the Marvel universe is because they had the failure of Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they oh shit, if we reboot this, it's gonna look
bad on us.
It's gonna look bad. So if we gotta make it a reason we're rebooting it. So hey, Marvel, can we do a deal? And that's with it. But now that they feel all right, we don't need y'all no more, I think they're gonna say, okay, we got our own shit. We got Venom, we got Kraven the Hunter, and Morbius. We got Morbius.
We got the Sinister Stick.
Let's just keep our, and I hope that's not the case.
Man, that would be some hoe shit if that was the case. Actually, no, I take that back. That would be some hoe shit. But number 2, Sony has already shown their hand, because 2 years ago they did try to pull Spider-Man out of the MCU.
Yeah, already. They did. Yeah, they did.
So the only reason why they sort of kicked the bucket on that one, because they only extended it for 1 more movie.
1 more movie, and that was this movie.
No, actually, no 1 more movie after this.
No, this was the movie, because I remember this movie right here. They did a 5-movie deal.
I thought it was a 6-movie deal. I thought I thought it was 3 Spider-Man movies and 3 of Marvel movies, and now it's 4 and 3.
Nah, this was see, that's what I thought too, and that's what would have been fucked up because, and I think that's why they agreed to do this deal because they would have had for their third movie they wouldn't have been able to have Marvel in it. So I think that's the only reason they did this deal. I think like you just saying, they wanted to leave the universe already, but there's like, okay, we got to finish our trilogy off in the Marvel universe.
So you're telling me that if Sony had it their way, Happy Hogan wouldn't be in this movie?
No, yeah,
because he was a big character in like the other 2 movies,
right? Exactly, yeah. So
and he's a Marvel character. He's an MCU character.
MCU character, yeah. So I honestly think that's the only reason why they did the deal. Like they was like, all right, so that way we get Happy back, and we can get another Marvel character,
like Doctor Strange,
and let's use him to make this multiple universe thing. And then after that, now they're like, all right, now that we got our trilogy out the way, fuck y'all, we out. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what they're gonna do. I pray I'm wrong because I'm not gonna lie, Sony ain't, to me, they the worst in the business at making superhero movies. That's just me. So
all right, well go ahead and keep it moving here. That's some crazy shit there. I don't that's a little hard to believe. All right, so for the next bit of news here, I actually don't have any particular news story that I wanted to cover. It's more of like a hodgepodge of news coming out of a week-long convention. So in case you didn't know, CinemaCon was happening last week in Las Vegas, and it's like an industry event where like the movie theater companies like NATO and press, like actual like industry insiders, all gather around for a convention, and it's behind closed doors. There's a lot of trailers and stuff that are like revealed at CinemaCon that are not publicly seen, and so we don't get to see any of these things. We can see like reporters and YouTubers that are like movie people that are like big names, such as like a John Campea, like I mentioned before. They get to go to these things and then report back to us, like us layman people, to just give their thoughts on it. Yeah. And so I don't really have I wasn't really following CinemaCon like in particular, simply because it does seem very boring and dry at times. It's an industry event, and there's like a lot of like interviews and a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And it's not like a show for like the general population, such as a Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big difference is we don't get to see the shit.
Yeah,
like if we got to see it, it'll be just as fun as everything because they show you exclusive footage, trailers, all kind of shit. Sometimes they show you a whole movie, like it be all kind of shit. But like for us, that's on the other end of the spectrum. It's like we just get to hear other people talking about how fun they had. It's like fuck that, man. I want to see the shit myself. Shit.
Exactly. So that's why I just sort of pulled up 3 random articles from Variety that sort of talks about CinemaCon, and it's not like anything that again, it's hard to get hype secondhand from something else.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So we're gonna have to just go off of what their reporting is. So the first one I have pulled up here is Jeff Goldblum and Sam Neill and Laura Dern are gonna be reuniting in Jurassic World Dominion, and there's some CinemaCon footage that they showed that, again, we don't get to see, but basically they're explaining that the original cast of the first Jurassic Park, Laura Dern as Dr. Ellie Sattler, Sam Neill as Alan Grant, and Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm are reuniting, and they're going to be joining the franchise back with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard for the 3rd installment of the Colin Trevorrow run of films. So yeah, it talks about the footage. It's like you got an unseen home movie reel with Steven Spielberg, and there's a lot of grainy film stuff, and they're talking about the props during the making of the very first Jurassic Park. So again, it's like very like behind the scenes stuff. It's not like a trailer and stuff like that. Yeah. But they showed completed scenes that featured the original characters. The actors appeared in interviews and discussed the film. They discussed returning after nearly 30 years of the first film captivating global audiences. Fans might be happy to know that Dern's now famous wardrobe color palette of pink and khaki gets a sophisticated update. And so Pratt and Howard were also seen in glimpses running once again from the prehistoric creatures. So again, just nothing, that's not a whole lot to go off of, but this is like confirmation, at least this is my first time hearing that the original cast is going to be in Jurassic World 3, or however you want to call it. But Troy, I know it's kind of dry here, like in this for this little article here, but does this do anything for you?
I mean, I don't do nothing for me at all because I'm really not excited about the movie. But
Damn.
But I will say, like, I like how they bringing people from the original because I felt like the reason why I don't really like the whole since it become the world Jurassic World, the new kind of era of it. I felt like it got away from how Jurassic Park was. It was almost something magical about Jurassic Park, and now it just became a typical monster shit. But bringing them back, it's almost like how Fast and Furious was when they brought back everybody from the saga, and it kind of all blended together. So like I like how we seeing Laura Dern come back and all that, and not just if the movie's good, then I think it'll be fantastic.
What's really interesting is like Jurassic World is like one of like the most highest grossing movies of all time. It's up there.
Yeah.
But it's like I like how it doesn't have that kind of hype inducing thing. But I will say I wish that they got the original two kid actors back as well. That would have been cool.
As adults
as
now.
adults, yeah. Especially because like one of them is still acting. I forgot Joseph Mazeo. He was in like. Well, okay, I guess he's not acting per se, but the last thing I can remember that he was in was The Social Network with Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. So he's still, I mean, that's a long time ago, but still, like, you know, he's been in something.
Yes. So yeah, there's that. And the next one up is Bullet Train. They showed a scene with Brad Pitt versus Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny in the movie?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yes. Brad Pitt, Bad Bunny slap each other around in the sleek first look at Bullet Train. Like, what kind of pairing is this?
What the fuck, bro?
Bullet Train went off with a bang at CinemaCon in Las Vegas on Monday. The first ever footage from Brad Pitt's action thriller was screened at the annual convention of movie theater owners during an opening night presentation from Sony Pictures. Directed by Atomic Blonde Helmer David Leitch. I'm going to go with that one.
David Leitch,
okay. The movie follows 5 assassins on a high-speed train who realize their assigned targets are related. The footage boasts the aesthetic we've come to expect from Leitch's high-contrast glamour with bare-knuckled violence. Anyone thinking that this was Pitt's attempt to slip into a Tom Ford suit and brandish a gun like a typical leading man, rest easy. His character, listed only as Ladybug, is a drifter rocking hiking boots and a faded tweed coat on Leitch's gorgeous and claustrophobic train. While the ensemble boasts stars like Sandra Bullock, the studio chose to bless the exhibitors with a clip of Pitt and global hip-hop star Bad Bunny. And
it almost sounds funny as you read it. Like, what the fuck?
In his first substantive feature film role, the artist, also known as Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, is a formidable opponent for Pitt. Sporting a white pinstripe suit, killer boots, and an edge weapon, Bunny and Pitt slap each other around a luxury cabin on the speeding train. It's all fun and tussling over a briefcase until someone gets stabbed. The footage also includes actor Hiroyuki Sanada. Ooh!
Hey, that's dope. That's
as an ominous passenger. Additional cast includes Joey King, Andrew Koji, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry, Zazie Beetz, Michael Shannon, and Logan Lerman.
I like that cast.
Yeah,
that cast is dumb.
So the project is based on a book, Maria Beetle, Bullet Train. Okay, yeah. So that's the article here. So again, we don't get to see any of this shit, man. God damn, I want to see a Brad Pitt Bad Bunny fight. Even as ridiculous as it is, I would have if they showed it to us on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, I have the profile pictures on Variety. It's like on screen, and it just seems so weird seeing them next to each other, by the way.
Yeah, it's funny.
Right.
I mean, it's smart, though. It's smart. Like, it just seems like marketing in itself. Like, Brad Pitt, Bad Bunny fighting. Boom, I'm going to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like it's a very smart, you know what I'm saying? The movie, I don't know. Like, I don't think this movie sounds terrible. Like, I think it sounds like a fun action movie. You know what I mean? And the fact they got Brad Pitt made me feel like something about it that's good, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm jumping up and down excited for it, but it seems all right.
That would be so fucked up if like Bad Bunny is like a one-scene cameo.
Well, I think that's what he's going to be. I honestly think Bad Bunny's going to...
They're not going to offer him like a
role. I think he's going to show up to have a badass fight, and then I think that's where he probably gets killed by Brad Pitt or something. I think that's how it's gonna be. You know what I mean? So, but like again, in itself, that's smart because you still can market the fuck out there, have him in the trailers, all kind of shit, and he just there for that one badass scene.
And he makes a song for the soundtrack.
Yeah, he do a soundtrack song, all kind of shit. Yeah, so I don't know. That's what I think. But I mean, listen, I love CinemaCon, especially this year, because it's about the cinemas, And one of the things I'm hearing about CinemaCon is that a lot of these studios are telling people, look, we're all about the theaters and da-da-da. They're letting people know that, like, they're not, like, just giving up on theaters right now because of the shit. Like, they're not like, oh, all this stuff is going to go to streaming. And, Warner Brothers the only ones, because they already did that goofy deal that, where that shit is going to HBO Max. They're the only ones that can't just come out and say that we're all about the theaters because they already did that. But everyone else from, like, Sony and stuff, I'm hearing that they're like, look, we're about the theater experience. So that's to me, that's the biggest news out of CinemaCon. Out of all the shit I've heard about, that's what I love.
And the final bit of CinemaCon roundup here that I was able to pull up is the WB, Warner Brothers. They revealed some new footage for The Matrix 4 and The Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman movie at CinemaCon. It's too bad we can't see it.
Come on, man. Y'all show that shit. Y'all tripping. They need to promote the Batman anyway. Shit, bro. Like, fuck Matrix. I don't give a damn about that. But show some Batman footage, bro. Like, they could have dropped it on YouTube because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Spider-Man trailer was revealed at CinemaCon. Why didn't they just, and then they dropped it after?
Yeah.
Do the same shit.
Exactly. So, yeah, we talked about how it leaked, and then they were going to play it at CinemaCon, and then, like, what is it, an hour later, they was officially?
Yeah. That might be, I mean, I'm glad that happened, because that's probably might have been the reason why we got the trailer, because who knows, they might have not even wanted to release the trailer now, but since it leaked online anyway, it's like, all right, damn, now we got it, you know what I'm saying? So who knows?
So taking a low-key approach, Warner Brothers presented new footage on Tuesday for its theatrical slate over the next 7 months at the exhibitors Confab. I don't know what that means. Confab CinemaCon in Las Vegas. The studio's real shows at the showroom at Caesar's Palace included new footage of the Batman starring Robert Pattinson and the opening sequence for The Many Saints of New York, and that is a prequel to The Sopranos. So it's kind of like the first few minutes, like kind of like what they did with The Dark Knight, with the Joker scene, stuff like that. They actually showed the actual opening few minutes.
I like that.
A glimpse at the first trailer for The Matrix 4, which was also revealed. They actually revealed its title. It's called The Matrix Resurrections, which I thought it was already known that it was called The Matrix Resurrections.
I don't know. I just remember always being Matrix 4. I didn't even know.
Okay, so there you go. Now we officially know it's called The Matrix Resurrections, and it's also got a Clint Eastwood neo. It also featured Clint Eastwood's neo-western drama Cry Macho. The presentation was a mini homage to Eastwood's career with the praise via recorded comments by Steven Spielberg, Meryl Streep, and other cinema luminaries. The tributes were mixed with Cry Macho's movie clips. Beyond the near-term theatrical slate, Warner Brothers teased that 5 movie adaptations of its DC Comics properties are expected down the road. The hour-long presentation was mostly a video presentation anchored by Warner domestic theatrical distribution chief Jeff Goldstein and international distribution counterpart Andrew Cripps on camera. In an unusual bit of staging, a Midwest exhibitor made an in-person introduction, Rolando Rodriguez, who is the chairman of the National Association of Theater Owners, or NATO, that sponsored CinemaCon. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for as far as the article goes. We don't really get to know a lot of these things. We just basically, it sucks. It sucks that we don't get to see. We just sort of like, oh yeah, they just did this, but we don't even. This article doesn't even tell you what the footage is, like what happened in the footage. Can you at least give me something to nibble at?
Damn, man.
Like, please, sir, may I have another?
Yeah, real talk. This made me just don't even want to hear the shit. That made me want it even more. Like.
Yeah. So a lot of this article is going about like CinemaCon and how many people are there, and
I can't
the
even
pandemic.
cap though. I can't cap though. I gotta see something from Matrix for me to even get remotely excited about Matrix. Yeah, because
I'm just excited. I'm excited only on the name.
I'm not excited at all with Matrix because the first Matrix was one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life, and then they just ruined it with the second 2 Matrixes. So it's like, to me, that franchise is tainted already. So unless they could do something to kind of erase how you feel about 2 and 3. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I actually never watched The Matrix 1 in theaters. I watched it like on VHS for the first time, And then 3 years ago, it was like the Matrix anniversary, and they had like a special like IMAX screening of it, and I got to experience it in theaters, and holy shit, it was an experience.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was like the sound and like the big picture and like
the
like
visual
the
effects.
Oh yeah, man, it still holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that's pretty much CinemaCon in a nutshell. It's a lot of industry talking and not a whole lot like for us consumers and public people to like to dive deep on it.
Yeah.
There was more stuff that was talked about. Every studio from like Universal to Sony, like every studio had a presentation. I didn't go over every one of them obviously, but like there's not a whole lot that we know publicly. So yeah, that's pretty much it for CinemaCon, and that's pretty much it for the news. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the extra news. We have 12 items on the list. Now, before we go into the news, I get most of the news from Variety, and it was such a slow news week that I had to go to different sections of Variety that I've never gone to before, and mainly the TV section. So there's a lot of TV news, and I'm glad I went to the TV news section because I found out about a headline that I'm super excited for on the TV side of things. Now, number one. Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke will co-star as half-brothers in a film called Raymond and Ray for Apple Studios. Number two, Dave Franco to direct Alison Brie and Jay Ellis in Amazon's romantic comedy Somebody I Used to Know.
Dave Franco, the one that with the controversy?
James Franco is the older brother.
James Franco. Okay. I knew something on that.
Dave Franco is actually married to Alison Brie, by the way, so that's interesting.
Oh, okay.
Also, I just want to say the first two news that I just read here are streaming platform like Apple and Amazon. So it's interesting that there's like unlike the theatrical stuff is sort of like losing share, I guess, mind share.
Hell no, I don't agree with you. Just because you read two things that got something to do with streaming,
You know what I'm trying to say. As far as like what's the percentage, but whatever. Anyways, number three, Jungle Cruise sequel is in the works at Disney. Number four, a live-action prequel for The Lion King is in the works, and Kelvin Harrison and Aaron Pierre have been cast, and with both of them playing Scar and Mufasa, respectively. So apparently, I said Scar/Taka in this headline. Taka apparently is Scar's canonical name, and I did not know that.
Me either.
So Kelvin Harrison is Scar/Taka, and Aaron Pierre is Mufasa. So number five, 50 Cent, Megan Fox, and Tony Jaa are joining the cast of Expendables 4, with Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, and Randy Couture confirmed to return. Number six, the Old Guard sequel has found its director, Victoria Mahoney. Number seven, all of the Harry Potter films are returning to HBO Max on September 1st after a short stint on Peacock. Number eight, Netflix picks up Manifest for a fourth and final season. Yeah, that's the kind of shit that I was talking about right there. I was like, that was like,
what you was talking about.
Yeah, I was like, I'm glad I went to the TV section of Variety because I was talking about how like, man, Manifest ended on a cliffhanger. Yeah. Number nine, Cobra Kai is renewed for season 5 ahead of its season 4 premiere. That's crazy. They haven't even premiered season 4 yet, and they're already renewed. Yeah. Number 10. Dave Bautista on working with Jason Momoa during season 2, quote, "We just Joe." Number 11, Ed Asner, who has over 400 acting credits to his name, including the Mary Tyler Moore Show, Lou Grant, and Pixar's Up, has passed away at the age of 91. And finally, number 12, the box office report. Candyman opened to number 1 at $22.3 million and marks the first time a black female director opened a film to number 1. And Free Guy has another strong hold of only just 26% drop and finished at number 2. So that is a lot of news here. And what do you want to talk about?
Well, Harry Potter, it's cool that that's going to HBO Max because I've been recently wanting to rewatch all the Harry Potter movies because I was a kid, like when the first ones came out, and I don't really remember them too well, so that's something I can look forward to or whatever. So, yeah.
What's kind of interesting is, like, HBO Max, like, debuted last year in, like, May of 2020, and it debuted with, like, we got all the Harry Potter movies. And then like, it got taken off really quickly shortly thereafter.
Yeah, they probably did some kind of deal with Peacock or something. And They probably wanted it on there for promotion, and then they had to, do their Peacock deal or like honor their Peacock deal. So they probably had it on there just to look, we got it, and then took that shit right off.
And so I remember like my family members were rushing to watch the movies before it left.
Right. Yeah.
And so now it's coming back.
I remember they did that with some other shit too. I can't remember. I remember being frustrated, like, why y'all put this on here just to take it off? But I can't remember what the other one is.
So yeah, I almost kind of wish like these streaming service would just, whenever it enters a streaming service, it never leaves. That would be like ideal.
I don't think they'll ever do that though, because that's how it's almost like how McDonald's and all these different fast food stuff will have these exclusive shit that'll go away and come back, like the Wendy's spicy nuggets. They'll go away and be like, look what we have back, or the McRib. Like, oh look, it's like they do it for marketing purposes. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I'm surprised nothing caught your attention here. For me, like, I was surprised by The Lion King. Like, I knew, okay, first off, the article goes on to say that The Lion King, the Disney, like, live action Lion King movie, like, it said in this article, I forgot where it said it, but it basically said it made like $1 billion. I forgot. Okay, right here. It grossed more than like $1.6 billion worldwide, overtaking Frozen to become the highest grossing animated film of all time. Interesting. I guess they count it as an animated movie, so.
Yeah, because it's all CGI and no humans. So.
Yeah, that's true. But I always like they tried to like
make it real.
Yeah, well, yeah, they try to make it look photorealistic and stuff. And also, like, I don't necessarily think like you put like the Lion King CGI animated movie where next to Frozen, which is also a CGI animated movie, but it's not a they're not comparable.
I feel you on that.
But so yeah, like as far as the that they were saying in the article that it made such billions of dollars, of course they're going to want to go back to that well. So the fact that they are doing this prequel thing where they're going into like the early days of Mufasa and Scar, who's apparently his name is Taka. Yeah. Yeah, it just seems really weird. And also,
I prefer them to do like a Lion King 1.5, like they did with the cartoon. I'd have been cool with that shit. Real.
No, I would have been okay with them doing Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. With
Simba's
that
Pride,
instead. But yeah, that actually, you know what, they should have done that with what's his name?
Mufasa. I mean, with
Childish Gambino.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with Childish Gambino on there. Yeah.
And Beyonce.
Oh sure.
Let me just decline that call. There we go. Anyways, so yeah, that's interesting that they didn't just like they have to recast whole brand new actors instead of just bringing on the actors that they already have. Also, the other thing I wanted to talk about, I'm so hyped. Tony Jaa is going to be in this Expendables 4. I don't know if you know who Tony Jaa is, but he's basically like he's done like action movies. He's kind of like on that level of Donnie Yen.
Oh, okay.
Like Tony Jaa has done a lot of action movies. He's done a movie series called Ong Bak, the Thai Warrior. He's done he was one of the villains in Furious 7, and he fought Paul Walker in one of
I remember him.
He was like he was like kung fu.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
And Paul Walker, he was whipping Paul Walker's ass and stuff like that, but he had to lose because he's a villain.
Is he in? He's in it or not in this?
Tony Jaa is going to be in Expendables 4. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this article talks about like Megan Fox. They got Megan Fox to sign on, and 50 Cent.
That's funny how they got 50 Cent.
He got 50
Cent. That's how you know this shit gonna be goofy. He got 50 Cent.
Ah, shit. 50 Cent and Sylvester Stallone have worked together, by the way.
They haven't never worked together?
They have worked together. The Escape Plan with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot about that movie.
So I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It just seems... it seems like this casting news, I was kind of hoping there would be more returning cast members like Terry Crews and stuff like that in this article, but they've only confirmed so many people so far. I hope Jet Li's in it. Ooh, a Jet Li versus Tony Jaa movie. Oh, damn. I need that.
That fight would be crazy.
I need that. So, but anyways, there's that. And let's see. Yeah, I already gave my props for Manifest. I want to watch. And by the way, Manifest is blowing up the charts. Last week, you weren't here for Netflix and chill, but last week it entered the charts in the top 10 because season 3 had dropped.
Oh, okay.
And so it's blowing up the Netflix charts even this week again.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And finally, I just well, actually no, not finally. Dave Bautista. I didn't even know that Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa shared the screen together because they were in a show called.
Supposedly they get along.
Yeah. Yeah, so apparently he was talking about in this article how he's very introverted and very quiet and kind of calm and stuff, and Jason Momoa is very like energetic and very
Correct.
yeah,
Charismatic.
charismatic, and so they just sort of like work together. I guess the opposite attract kind of thing. So it makes me want to watch the show See, because I didn't even know that Dave Bautista was in it. So. And lastly, the Ed Asner. Oh man, that sucks, man. He was like
R.I.P. to them.
R.I.P. Man, like it just that. I mean, first off, 91 years. That's a hell of a run right there.
Yeah, for sure.
And also like apparently I've been reading up about him, and a lot of people have nothing but nice things to say. He was a very active person as far as like social, political stuff. And
Right. Yeah.
and apparently he had a lawsuit going on because he was trying to sue for a better health care for the SAG Actors Guild.
Oh man, he was trying to do some real shit too
So-
before he went out.
Yeah, and oh yeah, and also by the way, the Pixar the Up is having a series, the Disney Plus series, and he's in it. So he's in
Oh shit! Damn, that's crazy.
So, and lastly, the box office here. I just gotta say real quick, I have no interest in watching Candyman. I don't. I just. That's not to say that I don't like the movie. I just like. I have to watch the first Candyman before I watch this one, and I'm not.
Have you? Oh, you never seen the first Candyman? Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
You watched that first Candyman, you'll be a fan.
I need to watch the first.
It's
Candyman.
almost like It. Did you see It when It had came out?
Yeah.
Like the original It.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you was excited about
Yeah.
It. So that's you got to do. The
Yeah,
same.
exactly. But shout out to the fact that damn. Let me see. What was? Do you know her
It's
name?
the highest box office for a black woman opening weekend. So that's always good. That's good news.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember her name. But do you remember her name?
Nah.
Let me see if I can find. Damn it. I'm gonna try to find her name here. But Candyman, There we go. Let's see here. I'm pulling it up here as we speak here. And Nia DaCosta, that's her name. And it's written and produced by Jordan Peele. And I'm surprised that what was that Oprah Winfrey movie, A Wrinkle in Time?
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised that
movie was
wasn't
trash.
Ava DuVernay.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
surprised
really-
that wasn't like the first #1 opening.
Well, see that, but no, that
It
movie
wasn't. It wasn't.
it was so trash though. Like that's
It
the
didn't
thing.
beat the #1.
Like if it was good, it might have did that. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that it was so trash that I think like it probably stopped everybody from going to see it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying I'm just surprised that there hasn't been a #1 black female
yeah.
director opening the box office.
Yeah, I mean it's not been a lot. That's why it ain't been a lot of black women that even get opportunities in Hollywood. So. You know, it goes to show if a movie makes only $22 million and that's the highest grossing, like that goes to show that there's not a lot of black women. There's not a lot of women, period, directors in Hollywood as it should be. But black women is even smaller than that.
So let me ask you this: do you count this as a dub, not just from that standpoint, but I mean like relative to like the production budget, relative to expectations? Is this like on the high end? Do you think that this is a dub?
Oh yeah, this is a win. This is definitely a win because it is a low budget movie, so it made money, and that's opening weekend. So anything else that it make is even a bonus. And then the fact that it's a success in terms of critically, and a success in terms of a black woman having success. So all across the board, I think it's good. I mean, it's not doing hundreds of millions, but it don't need to.
That's what I was trying to think. Like, I think it's exclusive to theaters. That's #1. And #2, it was like I think the people were tracking it to 15 million, so it performed over expectations.
Yeah.
As far as the budget goes, it's $25 million budget, so it's gonna break even by the time next weekend's gonna happen. So yeah, I don't know what the expectations were on this movie, to tell you the truth. I really didn't really have this movie on my radar.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to make of a $22 million finish, to tell you the truth. But yeah, that's it for the news here. So we're going to go ahead and move on to check this out.
Check this out.
So for check this out, I was actually it's not a good trailer lineup as last week here. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. Last week was just like banger after banger, and this week it's just sort of like it starts strong but it ends weak. So the first thing's up. I'm gonna show Troy the trailer for something called Doug Days, which is a Pixar animated shorts, which is about Doug the dog from the movie Up.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah. And so it's a short series, and I think it's like 5 episodes. I want to say it's a series of shorts, and it's got the actual original cast.
So wait, this not a movie? Oh, okay.
It's a short. It's like 5 minute shorts, and it's 5 episodes.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's got the original cast of the series of this movie Up, and so Ed Asner included. So it seems to be focusing on Doug the dog, and that's all we need. That's all we know, and that's all we need to know.
All I know is Up was a masterpiece. So anything like it at least has that. You know what I mean? Like, Up, these characters from that masterpiece Up. So
Yeah. So it's gonna be. I think I forgot. It said it here on like September. Dang, it doesn't say on here, but I want to say there was a. I don't see the date here. It just says fall, but I want to say September 1st or something. I forgot. But it doesn't. I wish this thing gave me a better thing here, but basically, sometime next month in September, you should have all the episodes streaming out all at once. So that's all we need to know. It looks entertaining. I'm interested. The next up is the Kingsman. There's a red band trailer and a green band trailer. So they released the same trailer twice, but I'm gonna show Troy the red band version. And I watched both trailers back to back. I know the differences. And one of the differences on this scene right here is this guy tells Ray Fiennes' character, "I only make decisions when either my stomach is empty or when my stomach is full or my balls are empty." And I'm like, damn. And he's like, "Well, it's a good thing dinner's about to be served or whatever." You know what I mean? So,
I don't know how I feel about Kingsman. I'm curious because this movie got hit. This is one of the movies that got hit with the pandemic and got pushed back long ass time. So any excitement that I did have, I kind of forgot about, really.
Yeah, because this movie was supposed to come out pre-pandemic.
Yeah, pre-pandemic, yeah. So who knows? But I don't know. I'm 50-50 excited because I loved the first one, didn't like the second Kingsman.
So like so that was the first one I said about my balls are empty or whatever. That was one of the differences that was not in the Green Band trailer.
Yeah.
Also not in the Green Band trailer is they digitally altered the shots to remove the blood.
The blood, yeah.
So it's just like them or like just sleeping or whatever. And that's it.
That's petty. They could have had that in there.
So there's a lot of differences and stuff like that. There's one shot where like there's a decapitated head later on in this Red Band trailer, and they took it out of the Green Band trailer. And certain characters that are getting shot, they show the shot in the Green Band trailer, but they don't show the effects of the shot.
Yeah.
They just kind of cut away.
Yeah.
They cut away real quick. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. This Red Band trailer made me hyped for this movie. I watched it and I'm like, damn, this movie looks clean. This movie looks fire. Like, there's like a gun and a sword and everything like that. Like, this movie is actually, right here, decapitated head right there. Like, bam! Like, they don't show it in the regular version. But, so yeah, like, this movie looks all kinds of, like, the action looks very, like, I don't know, like, very kinetic is the way I can explain it. But, like this looks cool as fuck.
It looks nice, but I just feel like all we seeing is action. That's what I'm worried. That's what I'm usually worried about a movie. Like, I don't need to see actions in trailers. Like, I need to see more. Like, I don't mind seeing action, but I need to see more character and story, and the action be a bonus. But if I'm seeing mostly action, then it might not be that good because it's like that's all they focus on. So who knows? It might be good.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm a bitch. I will fall for that marketing shit like every time. Show me cool shit and I'll be like, ooh, shiny. So I'll out myself on that one right there. Yeah. So next up is something called Intrusion. And it is let's see, let me read this thing here. It stars Frida Pinto and Logan Marshall Green. It comes out on September 22nd. And the synopsis reads, a woman moves to a small town with her husband, but is rattled when she is targeted for a home invasion. It's a Netflix movie. It's coming out in September. This, okay, first off, Frida Pinto, I haven't seen her in a minute. Like, the only thing I know her for is, like, Slumdog Millionaire and Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the James Franco one. Yeah. And then after that, she just sort of fell off. So I'm glad that she's still working. But yeah, this...
It's a Netflix movie. I'm not interested. I'm gonna be real. Netflix, when they step y'all game up, then I'll start being excited for y'all movies again.
Oh, well, at least it's a good cast. I will say that. Yeah. But it does look low budget, I will say.
It looks very low budget.
Most of it takes place in a house, and there's not a whole lot of suspense. I mean, it's a suspense movie, but this trailer doesn't doesn't do a good job of building up suspense.
Yeah.
I will say. But yeah, I'll probably check it out. I mean, especially if it's gonna be on Netflix. Next up is Spencer, which is a let's see here.
God, I can't. Oh man.
It stars Kristen Stewart, and she is playing Princess Diana, and it's like a let's say a
I can't
biopic.
wait for this one.
And it's coming out on November 5th. And it says in 1991, while spending the Christmas holiday with the royal family at Sandringham House, Princess Diana decides to leave Prince Charles. By the way, I just got to say this right now. Kristen Stewart looks like Princess Diana, like straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was surprised, like how she just
made her
she got that
transform.
look.
Yeah. I can't wait for this because Kristen Stewart is a world-class actress. Like, a lot of people don't know because she started off in
Twilight
and shit. No.
Well, before that as a child actress, but whatever.
But like she mostly
Had her big
known,
break, yeah.
But no, she's world-class. Like, she's been in a lot of great shit since then. It's crazy because her and fucking Robert Pattinson kind of started off in these bad movies, but they both like
Carved out their own
like way, and now they're in great movies and they're great actors, and I'm excited for it.
I feel bad for Taylor Lautner. He
And he wanted to star in them Pretty Boy movies.
Yeah.
So shit, that's why
he hasn't had a
off the map.
career. Yeah. He hasn't had a career like that on that level, you know. That sucks, actually. Now, but whatever. Anyways, but yeah, as far as like this movie, it's a teaser trailer, and it's like a lot of music. There's like 2 words of dialogue in this whole entire trailer, and like the trailer is just like a mood. I will say so. Yeah, I wonder why it's called Spencer. By the way, I don't even know. Next up is also another moody trailer. It's called The Power of the Dog. It's a Netflix movie, I believe. Yes, it's a Netflix movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Kirsten Dunst. The original Mary Jane, by the way. Also, it has who else in it? Jesse Plemons and what's that child actor's name? The kid from Let Me In. I can't remember his name. But he's all grown up now. He's an adult now, and but anyway, so yeah.
Who did they say directed this?
Let me see.
They just said it. Go back a little bit.
Let's see here. Written and directed by Jane Campion. I don't know who she
thought
is.
It said James Cameron. I'm like, they covering up the name and shit.
It starts streaming on December 1st, and the synopsis reads: 2 brothers and a co-owner of a Montana ranch duel after one of them gets married. So it's a Western movie. So, and it says it's gonna say his name, Jesse Plemons, and let me see. Come on, give me that name. Give me that last name. Oh yeah, Cody Smith McPhee. Yeah, so Cody Smith McPhee, he was a child actor. He was in Let Me In, and he was also, the Road, the one where like they're in apocalyptic with Viggo Mortensen. I forgot the name of that. I think it's called The Road.
Yeah, I think that's the name.
And then also he just sort of kind of grew up on me like sneakingly because he was covered in makeup a lot in like movies like called Alpha, where he was like in like his thing.
Yeah.
He was Nightcrawler in the X-Men. Movies.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
So yeah, like he just sort of snuck up on me, but he's like seeing him as like as a tall adult just seems weird because I just remember when he was like a little kid, and a Western movie made by Netflix. I mean, hey, Netflix's record is a little shoddy, yes, but you know what? Western movies don't come out these days.
Every now and then they have a good movie, so
yeah. And by the way, it's got Benedict Cumberbatch. That's all you need to know. Next up is something called Mayday.
Damn, that's a lot of trailers out.
Mayday is, I'm not going to spend too much on this one. October 1st, and it doesn't star anyone that I know. And its synopsis reads: a hotel worker finds herself transported to another world where war is raging, and a clutch of a young woman lure men to their deaths at sea via radio transmission. She soon realizes she's not the killer they want her to be. So yeah, basically they're like on a radio and they're sort of luring guys into a trap.
Who's making this one? Warner Brothers?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I don't know. It's it didn't. I think it said at the beginning. Nope, I don't have anything here. It just says Magnolia Pictures on here.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, nothing. This trailer did nothing for me. I watched the trailer and it's
boring as fuck.
And it's about women that are just like assassins, and one of them has like a conscience, and she's like wanting to get out of the game.
Yeah, it seemed boring as fuck.
They're practicing sniping. Look at this, by the way. Let me show you the scene real quick. So they're on a sniper. They're out on top of a hill, and they're actually sniping like real live ammunition. And so they show her like looking through a scope.
Where's that? What scene is it?
Right here.
Oh.
They're looking through a scope, and so she shoots, and then there's actually being held by a real person underneath. That is dangerous as fuck.
God damn.
So, yeah. Last trailer up is the Starling, which again I don't want to spend too much time on this one either because this trailer, guys, I'm like whatever. It stars Melissa McCarthy and Chris
hell
O'Dowd.
This movie is gonna be terrible. Melissa McCarthy, has she ever been in a good movie like ever once?
Bridesmaids.
Oh damn. Okay, other than Bridesmaids. Like she's never like Melissa McCarthy is one of the like, and I'm not even talking about.
She's
her
overrated.
No, I'm not talking about her humor. I'm talking about her movies. They terrible. Like even the last one she did with what's that? Like they was a superheroes. Or some shit.
That was I don't even remember the name of the movie, but it was a terrible movie.
Jesus Christ,
It was a Netflix movie though.
But all her movies, bro. All
right,
I've never seen a good movie from her. Like,
Melissa.
Jesus, and I ain't even talking about her as a performer. I'm just saying her movies.
Let's take a look here. It was called Thunder Force. God,
Thunder Force. Oh my God.
All right, let's take a look here. The Life of the Party, Ghostbusters,
sucks.
The
Central
Boss,
Intelligence sucks.
Spy,
The Boss sucks. Spy sucks.
Tammy,
Tammy
The
sucks.
Heat.
I never seen that one.
Identity Thief was actually pretty good.
I don't. Did I see that?
That's the one with Jason.
Jason Statham.
No. Bateman.
I don't think I seen that one. I ain't seen that. I didn't get to see that one.
All right, but anyway, so yeah, you're right. Her
resume is trash.
Her resume is kind of trash, but it's a drama. Melissa McCarthy is starring in a drama with Chris O'Dowd and Kevin Kline and Timothy Oliphant. She's a grieving mother, not a mother per se, but her and Chris O'Dowd's character were parents to be, and I guess the baby died shortly after being born, and so they're just sort of trying to pick up the pieces of their lives together.
I'm curious to see how Melissa McCarthy's acting is.
As a drama.
As a drama, yeah.
Yeah. So she's a nominee. Wait, whoa. I'm going to rewind this here. It says here on the Academy Award nominee Melissa McCarthy. When the hell was she nominated for an Oscar?
I have no clue.
Holy shit. So, yeah. Academy Award winner Kevin Kline. Okay, there you go. So, it's me. All right. So we'll go ahead and move on to topic of the show. But yeah, these trailers were kind of bad this week. I'm not going to lie.
And there was a lot of them. I think we was on top of the show for like 40 minutes.
So the only one I say, watch Doug Day's Kingsman. Everything else will be in the description. We'll go ahead and move on to topic of the show. It's time for topic of the show.
Yes.
So, not too bad on time actually. So we have a good 20 minutes to talk about a YouTube video here. So I assigned Troy some homework, and I watched it too. It was a 50-minute long YouTube video.
Yeah.
And the video was called, by the way, and I'll put the link in the description as well. And we're not bullying him or nothing like that. We're just simply like reacting / just having a discussion. Yeah. We're using his video as a jump off point to sort of talk about it and maybe even do a rebuttal to his points. But basically the name of the YouTube video is called 26 Reasons, and I'll actually pull it up on screen here. It's called 26 Reasons Why Post-Millennial Movies Are So Awful, with 3 exclamation points. And I have a document made that I typed up myself here. It is a 4-page little like notes that I took where I basically summarized his entire YouTube video in 4 pages, going over everything here. So we're gonna sort of like, because he gave us 26 reasons, we don't have time to like dissect every individual reason and attack each point. So I wanted us to like sort of attack like the bigger points and like the bigger things, maybe sort of lump some certain things together. We can do deep dives on certain reasons, but we do not have the time to talk about every reason. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the Cliff Notes versions of the 26 reasons why he thinks that movies post the year 2000 suck. It says, number 1, the lack of economic pacing. Number 2, over editing. Number 3, OCD OCD cinematography. Number 4, OCD lighting. Number 5, over choreographed action. Number 6, overuse of CGI. Number 7, bad musical scores. Okay, number 8, over-compartmentalization of personnel. Number 9, terrible casting. Number 10, recycled symbols and metaphors. Number 11, dumb heroes. Number 12, mumbled dialogue. Number 13, ever-increasing spectacle. Number 14, blank canvas art movies. Number 15, the uncinematic nature of IT communication. Number 16, over-reliance on exposition. Number 17, illegal downloading. Number 18, blitz marketing instead of word of mouth. Number 19, dependence on commercial and political advertising revenue. Number 20, brand-based marketing. Number 21, fake reviews. Number 22, expensive technical standards. Number 23, ideological conformity. Number 24, socially motivated viewing. Number 25, the redundancy of art in the age of mass communication. And the biggest reason I would say we're gonna need to talk about is number 26, is the lack of visionary directors. So Troy, you made your own notes on the subject here, and so you have rebuttals to his points. And before you say your rebuttals here, let me tell you my own personal thoughts as a summary. I'm a fence sitter on this one here because although I don't think he's wrong, I don't think he's right either. I think there were a couple of things, like a couple of those bullet points that I gave you. A couple of them I actually thought of before he said it. Yeah. Like I knew he was going to say it because that's something I think.
You thought it. Yeah, right.
So I agree with certain things that he says, and there are certain things that he nails right in his in-depth like breakdown of each individual reason, which he goes into.
Yep.
So that's not to say that I wholeheartedly like, oh, he's right. All movies post 2000 suck.
Right.
But he is pointing out trends that I notice, and there are trends. These are big picture trends.
Yeah.
So I think that he may be onto something, but I also don't think that his opinion is overreaching or overpowering my love for like post 2000 movies.
2000 movies. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
But I agree with certain things. You know what I mean?
For sure. No, for sure.
So let me ask you this: when I texted you this video, when I told you to prepare for it, you said right off the bat, "Oh, I can tell I'm going to disagree with it based off of the title."
Right.
Now that you had your chance, did you watch the whole video, or did you watch a whole?
I watched it all the way through.
Okay, so now that you watched the whole video and you sort of got like a laid of his like logic and his reasoning, do you think that you might I don't know overreacted a little or no?
No, I didn't. And I actually was correct on what I thought. You know, and it's crazy that you said that first, because one of the first notes I took about his video is one of the things that, you know, I always feel like if you make a video like this or you're making a point overall, one of the big important things that you do is you give examples.
Yeah, which he did. Yeah,
and he didn't.
Oh.
When it came to, like, when I say examples, this whole video was talking about post 2000 movies, right? He didn't go through rarely any movies in terms of giving the examples of, okay, this movie, the lighting, look how dark this movie is, or this movie, the cinematography is so glare. Or this movie, the pacing isn't done right, or this movie, like that's why when you watch reviews, and the reason why this is so important is because it helps you to understand if someone has any kind of biases. It helps you understand if this is just an opinion without any thought or effort into it. I'm not saying that's the case, but it helps me understand that because you're breaking down where you're getting this mindset from, right?
Yes.
So if you say, like, for instance, you know, the mumbling, and he brought the
Dark Knight Rises.
Right. He brought that up. So it's a few examples where he does it, but throughout the entire video, it's a very few examples where he said, this score is, he was talking about scores.
Yeah. He said Hans Zimmer.
But I'm saying, what movies did Hans Zimmer do that felt the same as all all of his because he was talking about
like,
when John Williams do a movie, it sounds different from this. Okay, so tell me a movie where Hans Zimmer does a movie and it sounds just like that in the other one. Because for me, Hans Zimmer is revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? He's not as good as John Williams, but he's revolutionary. So that's the first thing that stood out to me over watching his videos. He wasn't giving me like examples of specific things. But it's funny because when he talk about past movies,
he gave you examples.
He gave you examples. He'll throw you this why this movie was good, and he'll talk about in depth, right? But and the reason why that's important because a lot of people do this, and they do this with all subjects, right? Back in my day, you know what I'm saying? It can be with sports, it can be with anything. People it don't matter how good or bad something is in this generation, they're gonna say their generation was the shit, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear it about basketball all the time. Nah, man, back in Jordan days, they couldn't go down. We did this, we did that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I felt like it was important for him to give specifics, so he wouldn't come off as that guy, So
you're kind of hearkening into like he's a bit of an old head.
Yeah, he's a bit of an old head, and that's how I felt because I was looking for more of those. Call these movies out. You're not bashing the movie. You're not hating on the movie. Call the movie out. You know what I'm saying? Tell me the specific movies, and it's a lot because we're in. This video was like I believe 4 years old. So
and it got recommended to me. By the way, that's the reason why I pulled it up. Is it got on my YouTube recommendation feeds, and I'm guessing because YouTube knows me, I guess. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to do like a deep dive. And so I actually took down notes on everything he said here. And he gave us examples like, for instance, he said for OCD lighting, right? He gave us the example of horror movies. Horror movies suffer in the post-millennial.
Oh, real quick. Let me stop you right there.
All right, go for it.
Now, I did my last point because I got it in 5 different bullet points.
Okay, go for it.
I got 5 different points of what I thought about this video, separating 5 points.
Cool.
And the 5th point is what I do agree.
Okay.
Right? And what I agree with, lighting and overuse of CGI. So, so that's why I'll stop you right there. Yeah. That's what I do agree with. The lighting in certain movies is they try to make it where you see everything.
Yes.
Or they try to, it's not lit realistically sometimes. Yes. Sometimes it's lit where it's like, oh, you're going to see everything, when sometimes it's not meant, it's better for you not to kind of see what's going on. Or sometimes scenes are darker than they need to be. They need to be lighter. Sometimes they need to be darker.
Most times, he was saying that they're brighter than they need to be.
They need to be, but I'm saying in general, sometimes they're lighter and they need to be darker. Sometimes they're darker and they need to be lighter, but it's like movies are these days lit to be perfect to where it needs, and it's like, that's not really how scenery works. So that's one of the things in terms of lighting, I agreed with his video, and overuse of CGI. I agree with that.
He gave us a lot of examples to work with here, but as far as like the OCD lighting, like what really stuck to me was like pre-millennial movies were like, horror movies back in the day, such as A Nightmare on Elm Street, which he gives us, like, he cited specifically that one. They were very dark and very hard to see. And now post-millennial movies, they are shot during the daytime.
And see, I'm glad you said that because that's a great example. You see, he didn't bring up a new horror movie.
He just says
post, but then he gave a specific movie for his past, and that's what I mean. That's one of my.
So he's giving us like.
It's a general thing with that, but he'll go to specifics about the past, and that's one of the things that I didn't like about this video. Okay. It's like, if you're gonna compare something, compare it. Don't just give us this and then this is how this is. And matter of fact, I got more on that. I got more on that too.
But he says post-millennial movies are shot during the day with their exposure set low, and it's called day for night lighting. So things are easily seen even in the dark.
Yeah.
So
I agree. That's one of the points I agree with.
So I'm gonna just sort of just jump around here. Over editing, he says that it tends to be an issue with action movies, including Daniel Craig's James Bond film franchise. It started with the Bourne series, whenever the shaky cam thing was happening. It's a problem for non-action movies too, where dialogue scenes are being cut between two actors instead of just framing both actors in one shot. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, but see, okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and get to the second biggest problem, and that leads right in. It's funny kind of how our shit kind of syncing up, but I'm gonna get to the second biggest problem with this video. A lot of the stuff he was saying about the post-millennial movies, they're true, but there were problems before that too, as well. And that's why I was like, dude, are you biased? Are you shitting me right now? Like, perfect example. He talked about dialogue,
Yeah.
right? He talked about how a lot of movies explain everything. Like
Yeah.
a lot of like in the dialogue,
Yes.
a lot of these movies explain the plot, right?
Yeah.
And-
Exposition dumps. Yeah.
Exposition dumps, right?
Yes.
And then he brought up Quentin Tarantino, and he
Yeah.
said how good Quentin
Yeah.
Tarantino does it, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I was glad he brought up Quentin Tarantino because it's an interview with Quentin Tarantino's very first movie that came out in 1992 or 3, one of those, where he talks about how he's sick of movies explaining the whole damn plot. And they're asking him, oh yeah, your dialogue is so good. Basically the same thing this dude's saying. Like,
Yes.
yeah, Tarantino's good. And way back in 1992, Quentin Tarantino was talking about how he's sick of movies explaining the whole plot, explaining the dialogue. So guess what that means?
What?
That was a problem before 2000, before the 2000s, right? So a lot of these things he's saying, that it's not that he's wrong, but he's acting as if this
It's a
all
new thing.
started after the. But it's like, bro, it's so. And like another example, right? Because like what he said, I agree with was the overuse of CGI, and one of those points he brought up how the background looks fake, right? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah, he said that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
the
that.
background looks fake, and he even said this. He proved my own point for me. He said, yeah, Alfred Hitchcock, and yeah, back in his movies, the background looked fake, but it wasn't green screen back then. They would
a projection,
paint,
yeah.
they would paint the background and then have someone over the background and like to make it look like it's somewhere it's not. And
Yeah.
if you watch a lot of Alfred Hitchcock movies, the background looks fake.
Yes.
And he even brought that up, and I was like, thank you, sir, for answering my question. That was a problem before the 2000s. So what I'm saying, like a lot of what he wasn't understanding about a lot of the stuff he's saying is, yes, these things are certain things are problems in movies, but they've always been problems in movies, and that's what a lot of these guys tend to forget about when they talk about back in my day,
Yeah.
da 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 da. They don't realize that it's still the same things was even back then. There were movies that had exposition dumps. There were movies that had bad actors. There were movies that a lot of the stuff he brought up existed before then. You know what I'm saying? And it's like now, since it's not his day no more, he's recognizing all the stuff that and he answered it in his own video. It's so many moments that he answered in his own video, and so.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff, man. There's so much to like. There's so much to glean from, and I wish I could like go over all of my notes and stuff and everything he said. But like, let's talk about the scores here. The scores is he talked about Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman. He says that they're good, but he says that their music sounds the same from film to film. Whereas John Williams and Jerry Goldsmith would make unique music to their films that they are scoring. So, for instance, he says the movie Alien score. Is much different than Poltergeist as well as First Blood, but they were all made by the same composer. So when you can like hear the track for the first time, you recognize that it's that film.
Yeah.
Whereas if you play a Hans Zimmer track, you can't name which movie because they all blend together.
Right.
Is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Which I kind of agree because I can't tell
Well, see,
I can't tell if I'm listening to a Hans Zimmer song, I can't tell if it goes to Inception or Man of Steel.
Right.
They both kind of fit both places.
Exactly. Well, so, okay, I'm not going to lie. I disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? I do disagree with what you just said with Hans Zimmer. But here's the problem with what he just said. The dude named the most revolutionary score of
all time.
Of
Yeah.
all time. He named literally the best of all
John
time.
Williams.
It's like, duh. You gonna name John Williams and the dude that did Alien score? Like, of course, right? But again, like they're scores that all sound the same.
Yeah.
And then when there's a great composer, like the composer that won the Oscar for Black Panther.
Yeah.
His scores in each movie, he scored Tenet. That shit different from Black Panther.
Yeah.
He's one of the new great composers. You see what I'm saying? I just said how I just disagree with you with
Man of
Hans
Steel.
Zimmer. Yeah, I disagree with Hans Zimmer. To me, his shit sound different. So if you name the best of the generation, of course that's gonna be the case. So like a lot of his stuff, if you break down what he's saying, he's not making a lot of sense. But you have to break it down. You see what I'm saying? So back before the 2000s, there's a lot of music that sounds the same. It's a lot of especially the music that try to rip off. It's a lot of people that try to rip off Spielberg movies.
Yeah.
And they'll try to they can't get a John Williams. So what they gonna do? They're gonna make a John Williams sound.
Yeah.
Right. So and that's why I'm like, dude, I disagree again.
So he says here that movies were made with temporary scores during the editing process. These temporary scores would have like actual real scores.
And that's true. That's a true
movies.
thing. That's a true thing.
So these famous scores are then used as placeholders. So when an actual composer is brought on board to actually score the movie, they would end up making a derivative work because the executives are happy with the temporary score that they put in, and they want a score that has the same effect.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. But that's one of the things that's true. And I'm not going to act like that specific thing I've always known Hollywood do, because that's one of the more behind the scenes kind of thing. So I don't fucking know if Hollywood been doing that. But nowadays, that is true. Like they'll screen the movie and then they like the score that they kind of used and was like, go tell this person, hey, go make something like this.
Yeah.
Which caused this shit to be repetitive. So that's something I agree with, and I can't necessarily argue that was before too, because I don't know how Hollywood was back in the 80s, 90s, 70s, or whatever. So it is what it is.
The over-compartmentalization of personnel. So he's saying that directors and writers are being shoved into a box that aren't allowed to oversee other departments during the process. Executives tell people that are on the come up, you can either write or direct, but you can't do both unless you're a well-established person. And there's a lack of a single creative force behind the film.
Listen, all the stuff that he brought up behind the scenes to me is pretty irrelevant. I'm not even gonna get into that because we don't know Hollywood, and he don't know either. Like he said it in the video that it's shit he don't be knowing when it comes to behind the scenes.
Yes.
We don't know. So I'm not gonna get up here and act like, oh yeah, that's what's been. We don't know. Like we don't know how producers and how that shit work. We know it's a lot of shady shit in Hollywood. We know it's a lot of success stories in Hollywood. So all that stuff, like towards the
It's
end
hearsay
of it,
at this point.
it's hearsay. Yeah.
So ever-increasing spectacle. Due to the television and the internet, movie studios are forced into making bigger spectacle films to give people a reason to go to the theaters. Grandiose, epic films. Because TV studios didn't have the budget or bandwidth to pull it off, it leads to creative mistakes. So, for instance, he gave an example. The Empire Strikes Back versus The Force Awakens. Yep. He says the Empire had its big spectacle and got it out of the way at the beginning of the film, and the climax was more personal with the fight between Luke and Darth Vader, whereas The Force Awakens climax was about blowing up an entire planet.
Yeah.
So is that a good example for you?
I mean, no, that specific example is a good example. That's a good example, and I agree with that example. But I don't know if I could agree with the overall arcing of
it's
what
a creative
his point.
mistake.
Yeah, like I don't agree with his like that specific example is true because I remember watching Force Awakens like, oh, so it's a Death Star but just bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like so that specific example, yes, I agree with. But to say overall, that's how Hollywood is that they're trying to know because there's some movies that aren't like that. You know what I mean? So that's here nor there. I don't disagree or agree. It's just one of those or here nor there.
All right. This one got me here. Blank canvas art movies. Movies that are slow, quirky, and kind of empty, giving the appearance that there's something there when there isn't. Such as, he gave an example, Donnie Darko. He likens it to modern art, where painting has a circle and a square, and the artist says it's what you bring to it or what you see. And he calls bullshit. He says that art is about expressing something, not letting the audience project meaning.
Yeah. So I got a section that I wrote on my bullet point number 4, and I got a title, The Little Points He Made to Prove That He Doesn't Know What He's Talking About.
Okay.
And so this falls under one of those. So basically, in this one where he makes himself look bad in his own video, right?
Okay.
So a big part of art movies, right, is for an art movie isn't going to tell you what it is. You got to figure it out. You got to watch it, and the meaning, you got to figure out the meaning, right? So he made the point that some of these movies try to act like they have a meaning and they try to act all artistic, but they really don't, right?
Yeah.
Well, in the damn video, he said he watched Donnie Darko 2 times.
Yes.
He said, I don't really know why I like it. I mean, I don't think it's bad. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's bad. But this the movie he used as his example.
Okay.
And he was like, I just don't really know. I don't really know what it's about. I don't think it's bad, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're proving that you're not understanding the movie. If you watch a movie's trying to get its point across, right? you might watch it and don't get the message that the movie was getting. That doesn't mean the movie did it. You just didn't get the message. Like with Donnie Darko, you didn't get the message. You don't even know why you like the movie. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's movies and artistic movies. The thing about them, the reason why some people feel like they're boring is because artistic movies is more of show and not tell. Right? If you watch a Paul Thomas Anderson movie and you watch There Will Be Blood, you see how I'm giving examples? You watch There Will Be Blood, there's nothing in the plot that explains what's going on, right? You gotta see by what the director is showing you that it's about a character that has daddy issues, and it's a character that is very competitive in trying to get oil and things like that. You have to watch that. Now, if you don't pick up on that, that doesn't mean the movie was empty of having any meaning or message or tried to act like it portrayed a message and it don't. You just didn't get that message. And then sometimes you have to see movies over and over. Another example, 2001: A Space Odyssey, one of the greatest movies ever made. Most people that'll tell you, if you go and watch any review on YouTube, people will say, I have no clue what the hell that movie means, right? Even some of the people that love it the most, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean the movie didn't have any type of artistic value and meaning just because you didn't get it. You see what I'm saying? So he kind of showed while he was explaining what he was talking about that he just not catching it. It takes a certain level of critic mind to pick up on some of these little small details that's in certain art house films that the average person wouldn't pick up on, because again, like in big blockbuster movies where they tell you the plot
and they tell you the themes too.
They tell you the theme, the plot, and everything, and you know, well, artistic film will show you, and then you have to figure it out. So he had an example of like something where he said a color or some shit with like yellow and green and da.
Yeah, like a painting. He's talking about a painting with like very little.
Right, like a painting. Well, dude, in your example, that really could have meant something. Like that, like depending on whatever the story is or the plot is, but just say that could have really meant something, and that would have been your job to pick up on that. You don't just say, "Oh, that just don't mean nothing." No, it meant something. It might have meant something if you see a heart on in another Paul Thomas Anderson example at the end of. What's the Magnolia, a bunch of frogs fall out the sky. You see what I'm saying? If you don't pick up on it, you just go, oh, frogs fall out the sky. What is he trying to say something? You see what I'm saying? But if you pay attention to the movie and if you watch it a couple times, if you missed out on stuff, you understand that underlying theme. So I disagree with. And if those movies do exist where they're just overly artistic, they've always existed. That ain't something that just happened after the 2000s. So that was like the biggest point that he made that I disagree with entirely. I was like, dude, are you serious?
So here's a turning point here. So everything from here, from points 15 to 25, were not filmmakers' faults, but rather it's a result of society. He started off with saying that the uncinematic nature of IT communications. He says that phone calls, text messages, and video calls do not look cinematic, and they reduce communication down to the verbal. So maybe holograms will solve that problem in the future, but probably not. He says millennials may not be attuned to body language and other nonverbal communications. Horror movies suffer because cell phones exist and people can easily call for help. And filmmakers they need to make contrived reasons to get rid of cell phones. So that's interesting.
I mean, listen, I disagree with that only because that's a part that's big on the writing. Like you gotta write, you gotta learn how to figure out writers have to figure out how to make that important. But that's one that I could give him, because we don't see enough of like that utilized in movies, cell phones, and like, someone being able to get out, deal with having their phone and still having a problem. Like, cause cell phones solve so many problems. If you could just call or send a text, like the problem's over.
Give me an Uber.
Uber, right. So,
give me AAA.
Right. So we don't really see that enough of, cell phones being implemented in stories, and it's still a problem and they still got to solve it. So I'll give him that, but I don't necessarily think that's a problem. I mean, that's society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, that's what he said. He said it at the beginning. He said, like, everything from here is not a filmmaker's fault. It's society's, basically. He's saying,
right.
He's saying that, like, you can't just have a text message on screen with, like, bubbles, and it doesn't look cinematic, basically.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I disagree, because it's a movie that came out a couple years ago about a woman a girl that came up missing. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, with John Cho.
Yeah. It was a straight up masterpiece, and it was all cell phones, and it was cinematic as fuck. It's killing me that I can't think of that movie.
This here. I'm gonna look it up. John.
Yeah, that movie right there was so goddamn good.
It was Searching.
Searching. Oh my goodness. And it's like I almost wish, and I think he did that video before Searching came out. Maybe I think he did that video before Searching out, but I just almost wish I could just drop Searching right there in his lap. Like I think he made the movie when that what was that horror movie called? It was kind of like found footage of Skype. It was a Skype call. It was before Searching. It was what the fuck was that called?
Unfriended.
Unfriended.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet you he made that. I bet you he made that when Unfriended came out.
That's an example. That's a movie that make him seem right.
Yes.
Like so, I'll show him Searching. He'll show me Unfriended. I'm like, fuck. You know. So that's why I said like that's the one I can't really like. I can't go against him on, but I can't agree with him on either. So it's like up in the air.
For every tip, there's a tap.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of them that's up in the air.
I got him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But I wanted to. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up with these two reasons here. I'm gonna skip over some of these stuff because there's again. I encourage you guys to watch.
But real quick, let me talk about because so I got a bunch of points that proved that one I told you that proved he doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right, go for it.
He said it's an obsession. He said, "quote It's an obsession with trying to capture a crisp, clean, smooth image."
Yeah, cinematography, OCD cinematography.
Right,
yeah.
And he said the real world doesn't look like that.
Yes.
He also said he feels like the cinematographer is trying to gain his attention more than the director.
Yeah, he's saying that it's a lot of aesthetic.
Right. Now again, so there's two things that I gotta point to him that's ridiculous, right? So point number one, movies aren't supposed to be real life. Even the movies that feel realistic and it's a cinematic quality to them that separates it from reality, right? So every movie, even as realistic it is, it's supposed to escape you from your reality to a certain degree. So even that's why you watch something like Goodfellas, it's supposed to be realistic about these gangsters, but then there's slow motion scenes that's do. That's not real. You know, the people don't shoot in slow motion. There's scenes where it's like he's on coke, and then and then the editing and make it look faster. That's not real, right? So when he says, "Oh, the real world doesn't look like that," bro, that's not supposed to be the real world. Even if it's cinema. It's cinema, right? Cinema isn't real. Thank you. Cinema isn't real. Even if it takes place in the real world, even if it's supposed to be grounded, it's not real world. So that's the first reason I disagree with him, right? And the second thing he said was, it's like the cinematographer is trying to do more than the director. Dude, the cinematographer works for the director. He's going to do what the director tells him to do. So that makes no sense. You can't say it's like the cinematographer trying to do more than the director when it's like me, if you're the director and I'm the cinematographer and you say, Troy, I need a shot going up and then I need a beautiful shot coming down and it's going to overlay and it's going to be stylistic. I listen to what you do. I'm going to get a shot coming over. That's not the cinematographer. So you can't say, oh, it's like the cinematographer trying to show out more than the director. That makes no sense. So it's like, if you know movies, this dude's video, he sounds like amateurish, like with a lot of stuff.
But he tries to come off as professional.
He tries to come, and the thing about it is, if you don't know how to counter this stuff, it really does make it sound like it makes a lot of sense. But you got to really understand it. Now, this is the last one I'm going to talk about.
Go for it.
And this is the one that kind of almost
irritated you.
It irritated me because it almost from a common sense point, it don't make sense. He said too many action scenes are
I got it. I hear. Over choreographed action. He says, action scenes are planned out along with their camera angles and a 3D edit. Action scenes are so precise to the point where it looks staged. So he says, and he gives an example of a pre-millennial film. Mad Max did not have perfect shots, but the chaotic action was perfect for the movie. However, over choreographed action for The Matrix was perfect because of the context of the film.
Right. So I disagree with that because listen, if you look at the greatest action movies ever made, and I don't give a damn what millennium it came out in. Okay. It was overly choreographed before they shot. You can't listen. There's no way you could ask any filmmaker. There's no way you could step on set and freestyle that shit. When it comes to an action scene, maybe a scene where we're talking and it's like, all right, let's just make up something on the day and see how we're gonna shoot this. But when it comes to an action scene, you'll be wasting a lot of the studio's money. You'll be wasting a lot of time, and you'll stress yourself out if you think you could not have it completely from every
Storyboarded
angle,
and-
like it has to be that way. So it's almost weird. And the thing what he was talking about is there's certain looks when film and action, because they didn't have certain technology that we have now. Like they didn't have the Steadicam back then.
Yeah.
So certain things might have had to look a little. But trust me, that shit was very, very staged and planned out. And even if it don't look as that, it definitely was, because that's the only way you could do an action scene. So that's the one scene. That's the one thing he said that actually made him not look like he knows what he's talking. Everything else is mainly just a disagreement. But again, if you know what you're talking about, you know where to disagree with him. But that was the one thing he said that's almost like, come on now, bro. Are you sure you know anything about filmmaking? Like, come on now. And that was one of them. So, overall,
So
I disagree with him, but
he has things. He has some points.
he made some points. He definitely made some points, and a lot of the stuff that I couldn't speak on was the stuff behind the scenes. If he's from Hollywood and he knows more of that stuff, I'm not saying he's wrong on that. That's some of the stuff I can't say he's wrong on. And then again, I made the points where I did agree with him. So there was a couple of things on there I did agree with him. I felt like he was very disrespectful by saying a Revenant was trash. I was like, dude, are you smoking? The director won best director. The cinematographer won best cinematographer, and the lead actor was lead actor. Oh my God, bro, cut it out, man. But yeah, so that's how I feel about it.
So I just wanted to say, like, damn, I lost my train of thought here, but I'm gonna just go ahead and just wrap it up.
He
here.
wasn't completely everything he said wasn't wrong, but I disagree with a lot of his points.
We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go and wrap it up with two more reasons here. Illegal downloading. He says that it hurts the profitability of the movies. It results in the movie studios only making safe movies, which means that certain genres get made less and less. Adult dramas are now HBO series instead of movies. And he says that movies are now targeted to kids and teenagers.
Not true.
A bit of an old head kind of point there, by the way.
That's not true. Like, before pandemic, I can't even talk about how many billion-dollar movies. It's like we seeing more like now, if he was making that point right now, he might have a point, because when shit goes straight to HBO Max, it gets straight pirated in HD. But when most people, if they have the choice to see something looking shitty on the laptop or being able to see it on the big screen or somewhere else, or on Netflix if it debuted there or whatever the case, they'll choose that. And that's why movies were still very, very successful before the pandemic. So I disagree with that point.
And the final reason here, and this is the biggest reason here, he says there's a lack of visionary filmmakers.
Ooh.
He says the guy doesn't like Christopher Nolan films. He says that at the beginning. He says he finds them boring. He thinks that Inception was all right. He says there aren't many directors making classic movies after classic movies. There aren't any modern Kubricks or John Carpenters or Scorseses. Most directors working in the industry are motivated by fame and money and don't particularly have anything meaningful to say or have any insights into the world. He gives an example. Stanley Kubrick loved to read about many subjects. He had an intellectual understanding of many subjects to the point where he made films with interesting insights and has things to say. Directors that are on the come up these days want to imitate other directors, such as people wanting to be the next Tarantino. The thing is, the filmmaker will always be a great value Tarantino and will never beat the original at their own game.
Yeah, see, that's an opinion that I definitely disagree with.
I kind of agree with the last part about like, if you try to imitate someone, you're always going to be
that's true. But a
shitty version of them.
No, that's true. But see, one thing he has to understand is there's a difference between imitating someone and being inspired by someone. Like, every director that he named, Stanley Kubrick was inspired by different directors.
Like
Hitchcock and all that. Quentin Tarantino was inspired by Martin Scorsese and Brian De Palma. And so a little bit of their style is in their style, but then they create their own style within that. So it's a difference between someone just copying someone and someone, being inspired by them, and you see a little bit of their style in there. So I disagree with that, and I also disagree with, like, again, this one of the things that made me feel like he's one of the old heads that say that, because it's like, really, there's no good modern day directors. It's like, are you shitting me right now? Like, I feel like the directors, in terms of the talent that's out there, it's just as much. I'm talking Paul Thomas Anderson, Wes Anderson. Are you gonna say that about them? Like, are you smoking? So I mean, Denis Villeneuve. It's so many directors that I can't even get into that, because it's like, it's so many directors, and so, like, that's one of the things that just make me disagree. And then again, lastly, to my point that I've been making through the whole thing, he always gives an example of something from the past and don't give. So he talked about how Stanley Kubrick read and all that. So who's a director that, how do you know directors don't read and be inspired by stuff they, studied on and things like that? So you can't just say one without the other. You gotta, if you're gonna give an example of something, give an example of how the other person don't do that. Don't just say this person did that. But you see what I'm saying? So
it's like, yeah, Josh Trank, man, he doesn't know what a damn thing about he's talking about or something like that.
like,
something like
you
that.
see what I'm saying? Like that would have made his point so much better. But it's like
Josh Trank said in an interview that he's dumb as fuck. I'm
right?
like, okay,
yeah,
all right.
but see, when he don't do that, it make it sound biased, and that's what I feel like about his whole video. It was biased.
Yeah, you're right. I'll give you that one. But like, there's something about what he said though that does speak to me, and I guess because I'm older and I feel I'm starting to age into that old head category.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like sometimes I feel like okay boomerish.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely like in this camp either, but I'm not.
Which point?
I don't know, man.
You talking about just overall?
I don't know which side of the fence I'm sitting on. I'm sitting on the fence.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever.
And lastly, this is the last thing.
All right.
If his video was retitled, "The Problems with Movies in General," and then a lot of these points, I would agree with a lot more. But the fact that he kind of cut it off
2000
and he made it a divide. Now it's like, okay, come on now.
But you know what I was gonna say to his point about legendary directors, I guess, is like when I think of like the 80s and stuff like that, and like you had like your Steven Spielberg, your George Lucas's, your John Hughes,
Martin Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese. Like I don't think we have that kind of caliber of working directors in the 80s versus working directors now. You know what I mean? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I think so. Because the reason why I think so because since they were new era Hollywood, they started new Hollywood basically. They always will be remembered as that.
Yeah.
And so it's like the 4 or 5 directors
you got a Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Now it's just so many directors that are great. It's that you can't. They don't stand out like that. But really there is, because if you think about Christopher Nolan, right? He'll count as one of the new era directors, right? Paul Thomas Anderson, he'll count as one of the. Everyone knows who Paul Thomas Anderson is. Everyone decided. Denis Villeneuve, who's doing Dune, and he's done Arrival, and then done all these big movies. Done the Mexican cartel movie. I can't think of it. Like. He'll be one on that. So they're there. You see what I'm saying? But it's just so many other directors with it. Ryan Johnson, this director. J.J.
Abrams.
That it don't feel.
Everyone's hat is in the ring.
Yeah, everybody had in the ring. Where at that time it was about them. If you wasn't Martin Scorsese, Brian De Palma, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, those dudes, then you really wasn't. No one wasn't talking about you at the time. Them dudes was running Hollywood. So that's why it feels a bit different.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Okay. I'll get. Yes. But as far as the actual topic of the show, we kind of went over time. But I will say
had to though. That dude was talking shit. We had to.
But I will say this. I'm going to say just to close it out. We could have easily done an entire Ready Play movies
on that alone.
On this one topic.
I kind of almost wish almost kind of wish we did.
We left out so many talking points. By the way,
absolutely.
I encourage you guys to watch this video. It's actually interesting if you're like into like filmmaking and just just criticism of movies in general.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thought exercise in my opinion.
Yeah.
It definitely it inspired a good conversation between me and Troy, and it sort of makes me open my eyes. You know what I mean? So. That's all I wanted to say. I enjoyed the video for the thought provoking it did, not so much like the actual
whether it was true or not.
Yeah, exactly.
It caused a discussion.
Exactly. So we'll go ahead and move on to finish out the show with Netflix and chill and the new releases. So let's sort of like speed run this. So for Netflix and chill, I'm gonna just read the charts here real quick. First up at number 1 is He's All That, which is the She's All That remake.
Oh shit!
Did you even know that He's All That was a thing?
Nah, I didn't.
Number 2 is something called it's a Netflix series called Clickbait, where Adrian Grenier from Entourage. He stars and he's kidnapped, and if one of his videos gets 5 million views, he's gonna get killed.
Oh,
I'm like,
shit.
oh shit, yeah. Next, number 3 is SAS, Rise of the Black Swan. Don't know what that is. Number 4 is Manifest. It's still on the chart. It's still on the chart. Number 5 is the Jason Momoa Sweet Girl, which I watched that movie, by the way. I gave my impressions last week. It's a good movie, by the way. Okay. Number 6 is Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed, which is not something I would associate with Bob Ross. With his painting and shit. He's like, damn, what kind of life did he live?
Yeah.
Number 7 is Coco Melon, which, by the way, week after week has been rising. It started at number 10, and then the week after that it was number 9. Last week is at number 8. It's climbing week by week, one at a time.
Coco Melon, I'm never going away. I don't give a fuck. Y'all think I'm out? I'm not.
And number 8 is The Loud House Movie. Number 9 is Vivo, and number 10 is All American. As far as the movies goes, He's All That, SAS, Rise of the Black Swan, Sweet Girl, Bob Ross, The Loud House Movie, and Vivo are the carryovers from the last Netflix chart. And then it's sort of like rounded out by 7, 8, 9, 10, which is The Old Ways, The Waterman, which is David Oyelowo. Number 9 is The November Man, which is a Pierce Brosnan movie. And number 10, I never heard of this, it's called Really Love. Do you have anything to say about the Netflix charts?
Nah, man, I said Manifest. I'm good. It's good. That motherfucker right there in the top 5.
Yeah, that's a good one. You should check it out. Next up is the iTunes charts. Number 1 is The Hitman's Wife Bodyguard. Number 2 is Peter Rabbit 2. Number 3 is Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins.
Damn, that shit just came out. Shit.
I know. They already put it on digital, straight up.
Damn.
Number 4 is Spider-Man Far From Home.
I've been seeing Spider-Man on everywhere. I think since the trailer got, it been on TVs, and I go in McDonald's, I see it playing. I'm like, what the fuck?
So people wanted to catch up on Spider-Man before the new movie. That's kind of crazy. I can't believe a trailer made a movie trend on iTunes.
Yeah.
Number 5 is No Man of God. Number 6 is Wrath of Man. Number 7 is A Quiet Place Part 2. Number 8 is Black Widow, which is, I'm surprised, is so low on the list. You know what I mean?
Sheesh.
No staying power for Black Widow.
Yeah, I know.
Number 9 is Pig, and number 10 is She's All That. The He's All That on Netflix made She's All That from the 90s.
That's funny, man.
Trend on iTunes.
Yeah, that shit's funny as fuck.
The top 10 movies on Amazon Prime. Number 1 is Respect, which is. And number 2.
Respect.
Number 2 was Stillwater, which was number 1 last week, by the way.
Oh, Stillwater was up there? Okay.
Yeah.
I was good to see that because Stillwater was a good movie that didn't get enough love.
Number 3 is F9, The Fast Saga. Number 4 is The Green Knight. Number 5 is Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. Number 6 is The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Number 7 is Black Widow. Number 8 is Nobody. Number 9 is A Quiet Place Part 2. And number 10 is The Forever Purge. Anything you want to say about either of these charts?
I gotta say, iTunes charts got some bangers because it's like they got a bunch of new fucking movies. You got A Quiet Place Part 2, Black Widow, The Hitman's Wife Bodyguard, G.I. Joe Snake Eye, and then the old movies, you still got Spider-Man Far From Home. Damn, it's crazy. So yeah, that's it. And it's good to see Stillwater up there at the top.
Yeah. My recommendation for the week is a movie called Stand and Deliver. It stars Edward James Olmos, back when he was at his peak, I would say.
Well, hold up. Before you say that, I got to say, just so it won't be underwhelming, I don't have a recommendation because I started a second job and I've been working like a motherfucker. But, yeah, I didn't want to end it on that, so I'll let you end it
all right.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's on HBO Max right now. You can watch it right now. And it's definitely a movie from, it kind of harkens back to, I don't know, a different time, I would say. I think the movie was made in the 90s, but it was set in the 80s, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
And it's about, and the movie's been parodied even on South Park, by the way. But the movie's about a guy who becomes a calculus teacher for this inner city school. We've seen this movie before. We've seen it with Substitute.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Dangerous Minds and all that stuff. I want to say it's Dangerous Minds. Anyways, whatever. Yeah. But we've seen this movie before. But it's a inspirational movie where he takes these group of inner city kids that with no future, I guess, or whatever, and he turns it around and he makes them learn calculus, and he makes them take the AP test, and everyone thought that they cheated because there's no way these kids are that smart can figure it out, but no, he literally taught them.
Damn.
And so it's a really good inspirational movie where you sort of feel for him, and then he makes you care about the characters, and it almost kind of makes you want to damn, I want to be a teacher to save the world like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but that's the kind of good wholesome kind of feeling that you get from it. So if you haven't seen or never heard of Stand and Deliver, it's on HBO Max. Go watch it, and it's a good movie. So
okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
That's what I like to do. I like to find some deep cuts
That
for
seems
the
pretty
recommendations
cool.
and
Yeah,
stuff
that
like
seems
that.
pretty cool.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the new releases.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
So we have 6 new releases, actually more than 6. We'll get into that in a little bit. But I usually try to be very thorough, but there's just too many new releases, so I had to sort of like axe some of them. There are 6 new releases, and one of them, and the very first one, is going to be a home video / DVD Blu-ray release, digital release. Like, it's called Mortal Kombat Legends: Battle of the Realms. It comes out on August 31st, which is the day this podcast comes out, and it's actually how do I put this? It's a sequel to an animated Mortal Kombat movie that came out last year called Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the sequel, and it's the synopsis reads: the heroes must travel to Outworld to defend Earthrealm as Scorpion searches for the ancient Kamidogu before it's used to resurrect the One Being. The film stars the voices of Joel McHale as Johnny Cage and Jennifer Carpenter as Sonya Blade, alongside other notable voice actors. So this movie has been getting reviewed like badly, poorly. Like The Scorpion's Revenge actually reviewed pretty well, and people were actually expecting more from this movie. But apparently, this movie has too many plot lines in one movie, in a short movie at that.
Is this the animated shit?
It's animated, yeah. It's an animated movie, and it's like 80 minutes long, and there's too much plot, is what I understand. Now, the next one is Afterlife of the Party. It comes out September 2nd on Netflix. A social butterfly has experienced the biggest party foul of all, dying during her birthday week. To her surprise, she's given a second chance to right her wrongs on Earth by reconnecting with loved ones and, most importantly, prove that she's worthy of getting into the big VIP room in the sky. The film stars Victoria Justice, Midori Francis, Timothy Renouf, Adam Garcia, Gloria Garcia, and Spencer Sutherland. I only know who Victoria Justice is because she was a Disney Channel star from like Zoe 101 and Victorious.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is definitely the pick of the week by not even close. Yeah. My pick of the week, Shang-Chi, comes out on September 3rd in theaters. Martial arts master Shang-Chi confronts the past he thought he left behind. He thought he left behind when he's drawn into the web of mysterious Ten Rings organization. The film stars Simu Liu, Awkwafina, Benedict Wong, Michelle Yeoh, and Tony Leung. That's a good cast. I'm surprised Benedict Wong got top billing, by the way, because I thought he was going to be just a cameo. But, okay. Next up is The Gateway, which is in theaters this Friday. It says, a down on his luck social worker finds himself in over his head when he tries to protect a client from the recently paroled husband, a maniacal drug dealer out to reclaim his priceless stash. The film stars Frank Grillo, Olivia Munn, Shea Wingham, Taryn Manning, Keith David, Mark Boone Jr., and Bruce Dern. That is a badass cast.
Yeah, it is.
Next up is Mowgli. I'm sure this is a limited release movie, but it comes out in
That's
theaters.
like Mowgli from the Jungle?
Yeah, the Jungle Book. That's so racist as fuck, by the way, because you'll see what happens in theaters this weekend. On the brink of his first international tour, Zed, a British Pakistani rapper, decides to fly home to the UK to visit his family he has not seen in 2 years. In the midst of trying to reconnect with his parents, he is suddenly struck down by an autoimmune disease. As his condition worsens and his big breakthrough moment is in danger of vanishing into thin air, Zed descends into physical and emotional crisis amplified by vivid hallucinations. The film stars Riz Ahmed. That's fucked up. They're calling him Mowgli.
It's fucked up.
That's racist, right? Why you call it Mowgli and make it star Riz Ahmed? You know who Riz Ahmed is, right? Yeah. Okay.
But that shit racist as fuck.
It has nothing to do with the Jungle Book, by the way. Look, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna pull up Mowgli, and I'm gonna pull up the.
Maybe it's a coincidence that like Mowgli ain't probably that Mowgli. I think he's like a different.
I pulled up the poster, by the way, and I'm making him laugh even some more.
Well, I don't think that's Mowgli from like that. I think his name is just coincidentally.
His character's name is Zed or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think he's like the Mowgli From the Jungle Book.
Mogul Mowgli, like, because
Yeah.
he's about to be a rapper, he's about to be famous, he's about to go on tour, but now he's sick.
Name Mowgli. I just don't like. I don't know.
You
why
never
they-
even heard of this. You didn't,
Yeah, like, but I like it was funny because I was thinking. I don't know, it was so funny because I was thinking it was Jungle Book the whole time. Like I thought it was like
That's
a
what I'm
Jungle-
thinking, too.
I thought it was like a Jungle Book spinoff. But then when you said it was starring him and he was trying to be a rapper and shit, I knew. It had me laughing so hard.
Next up, and the final new release that I'm going to highlight is called Worth. It comes out this Friday on September 3rd on Netflix. In Washington, D.C., lawyer Kenneth Feinberg battles cynicism, bureaucracy, and politics to help the victims of 9/11. The film stars Michael Keaton, Stanley Tucci, Amy Ryan, Tate Donovan, and Mark Maron. That's a pretty good one, I will say that. And also, this is just a public service announcements, PSA. These are just other new releases that are coming out, and most of these are going to be like straight to VOD. A BET original movie called Karen is releasing on Friday, as well as a Saban-produced film called Zone 414, which is a video-on-demand release, starring Guy Pearce. A movie called Yakuza Princess, starring Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, is releasing. An apocalyptic horror movie called We Need to Do Something is coming to VOD. And finally, a Cinderella adaptation called Cinderella is releasing on Amazon Prime this Friday. So that's a lot of new releases, and yeah, obviously, I will be watching Shang-Chi this coming Sunday, which will be in time for next week's show to give you my thoughts. And is there anything that catches your attention as far as new releases other than Shang-Chi?
Just Shang-Chi. That's all I care about. I ain't gonna act like it ain't finna be Mowgli. I know that.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Worth because it's Michael Keaton. You know,
Yeah, nah, I like
it looks
Michael
like an Oscar.
I like
bait.
Michael Keaton, but
It looks like Oscar bait.
I mean, listen, on the same weekend of Shang-Chi, I don't give two shits about nothing else. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, so yeah, that's gonna be it for the thing, and Troy can actually see what I had planned for the next segment.
We're
That
gonna have to do that one eventually.
We're gonna have to do that one, yeah. So in the meantime, we'll go ahead and just end it here. So yeah, it is time to end. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Ready Play Movies. Remember, you can reach the podcast by email at readyplaymovies@gmail.com or simply at readyplaymovies on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Chakalaka88 and Troy.
I'm Bracy Troy 58.
Don't forget to subscribe, give us a review, tell your friends about the show, and all that good stuff. See you next time.